You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
Live from the Police Show, yet not overly ostentatious studios of the Infinity Sports Network here in beautiful New York City, sitting on top of the 10th floor, 345 Hudson Street. Welcome on into what is a Football Friday edition of the Zach Gelb Show across all the great local Infinity Sports Network affiliates, Sirius XM, Channel 375, the free Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and also streaming live on YouTube. 888-710-4ISN is the number to jump on in. That's 888-710-4476. You could also always get at me on Instagram, where I'm straight flexing, or via the good old cesspool of Twitter, at Zach Gelb. That's ZACHGELB. Or you can follow us on TikTok at The Zach Gelb Show. Jermaine Eluemunor from the New York Giants, after their huge Week 6 victory, is going to join us coming up in 40 minutes from now at 3:40 p.m. Eastern time, Josh Appel will do some NFL picks for us. National play-by-player. We'll be doing a bunch of NFL games throughout the season for Sports USA. He will join us at 4:20 p.m. Eastern time. And former Giants quarterback Phil Simms will join us as well at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific time. I was at the game last night. I will be fully transparent with you. I walked into that stadium expecting the Philadelphia Eagles to bounce back, right? We know in week 5, the Philadelphia Eagles suffered their first loss of the season. They probably should have suffered their first loss of the season up against the LA Rams, where they were down big. They made the crazy comeback. And I think that comeback hid the issues that the Philadelphia Eagles had, right? What happened a few weeks ago up against the Rams were the 10-1 Philadelphia Eagles, where their record said, wow, this is a great team. But then you looked at them and you watched them play and you said, uh-oh, they got some problems. Now, last year, let's recall the Philadelphia Eagles, they had issues. It was sloppy in the beginning of the season. I didn't think much of Nick Sirianni, and they found a way to get into the postseason, win the NFC East, be the number 2 seed. The Lions fall in the first round to the Washington Commanders, and then bam, the next thing you know, they beat the Packers, they beat the Rams, they beat the Commanders, and then they're in the Super Bowl, and not only just beat the Kansas City Chiefs, they beat the snot out of the back-to-back at the time Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. So I walked into that game last night, and right, I try to prepare, but a lot of times you got to see what is painted on the canvas in order to have your storylines develop. But I did go into that stadium last night, and I said, all right, what's the biggest story? As I sat next to a guy on the train, by the way, and the guy was wearing a snake, like a plastic snake, a toy snake, in a Saquon Barkley number 26 jersey, and on the back it said Snakequan. So I'm sitting next to this fella on the train, and I gather he is a little inebriated. What kind of told me that was the 24 rack that he had in his hands, and it was not a very full 24 rack, so I think he already did some damage. And he was just by himself. It wasn't like he was with Stu and all Stu's buddies, or Samter and all of Samter's buddies. This guy was by himself, and at one point on the train, as he opens up a Coors Light, he spilled a little bit of it on me, which I did not love and I was not thrilled about, but he opened it up and a little bit of the Coors Light to get on my leg, but it is what it is. Seemed like a jovial fella. And I'm looking at this guy, this drunk fool, who is in a Snakequan outfit, and I'm thinking to myself, that's the biggest storyline probably of this game. Like, all right, obviously, in terms of just from the Eagles, the A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts stuff, that was a big storyline going in, but I'm thinking as a national radio host, how could I kind of hit both markets and maybe a storyline that appeals to the nation? And I thought to myself, okay, maybe a storyline going into this is now we are a full year removed from Saquon Barkley no longer being on the Giants, right? He is now on year number 2 of being on the Giants. I mean, being on the Eagles. With that being said, I was wondering where the emotions of Saquon was going to be. Like, does Saquon walk into that game still hating the New York Giants, or is it at this point, I've won, kind of checkmate, I won a Super Bowl, the Giants are a disaster, the Giants are going nowhere, and at this point, I'm not going to be petty about it, it is what it is, I've won. And I was going to go into the Eagles locker room after the game, what I assumed was going to be an Eagles victory, right? Up against the Giants, who had their moment 2 weeks ago up against the Chargers, then threw the game away up against the Saints with turnover after turnover after turnover. I thought to myself, okay, Eagles are going to win. Like, we went around the room yesterday. Stu said they were going to cover the 7.5. I said they'll cover the 7.5. Samter actually said plus the 7.5. And then I said, do you think the Giants are going to win? And he said no. But Samter, in a Vegas betting world, you would have won money last night. You should have sprinkled some of it on the money line, but you didn't. So the three of us thought, regardless of how it was going to look, that this was made for the Eagles to win. And then that's what I thought my soundbite was going to be. Where it was going to be, okay, Saquon, you know, you are now on year number 2 with the Philadelphia Eagles. When you look back at the whole ending with the Giants, when you walked into the stadium tonight, was that on your mind? Are you still emotional about it? Or is it in the past? And then I'm sitting there in the press box, And I'm watching the game. Very good spread in the press box last night. They had some like fancy pasta station, which I didn't eat. Then they had some sort of beef, but I saw a chicken cutlet hero that they had. And you put chicken cutlet in pasta salad or on a hero, you could say less. There are no other options. Chicken cutlets and your boy Zach Gelb, that is just like a great duo. It's like Shaq and Kobe, if we're being honest. It's like Brady and Randy Moss, or Brady and Gronk, we should probably say, because that's a championship-winning duo. Unfortunately, Randy Moss didn't win a championship with the Patriots. But I'm sitting there. They bring out some cookies during halftime, right? They bring out some brownies, too. See some guys that I know last night. Devin McCourty was doing the game for Westwood One. Ran into Carl Banks as well. And, a lot of friends that I have from Philadelphia. So I'm enjoying myself in the press box last night, and I'm watching the game. And I'm saying to myself, this is a new look New York Giant team. I've been to many Giant games. I'm not a Giant fan, but just being in the area, being a smart, hungry, eager national talk show host, I try to go to as many games as possible. So I said, all right, I'll go to Eagles and Giants on Thursday. That's all. Start week 6, and then I'll end week 6 in Atlanta on Monday when I'm going to the Falcons and the Bills. So I'm watching the game, and when you walked into the stadium, there were a lot of Eagles fans, but it's a Giant home game, so there's naturally going to be Giant fans. And I thought those Giant fans by the fourth quarter would have probably been leaving the stadium, maybe stopping off at Rutt's Hut, getting a Ripper and a well-done Frenchie after the game. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, they're going to hit the exits early. And it ended up being the Eagles fans that hit the exits early. Because last night was the coming out party for not only Jaxson Dart, but also Cam Scatterbo. And I understand what transpired 2 weeks ago at home for the Giants. Right? They beat a damn good Chargers team. And that was impressive. But then they had an ugly, sloppy, turnover-filled performance, which is going to happen with the young team, up against the dreadful New Orleans Saints. And they walked into this game where at least the Chargers, you could say same old Chargers. But these are the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And not only did the Giants beat the Eagles, they made them quit. They made them tap out in the fourth quarter. Right? Those Eagles wanted to take their ball, and they wanted to fly down the turnpike going into the fourth quarter, but they had to sit there for 15 more minutes of game time. And it just shows you. We saw it with the Texans with C.J. Stroud. Outhouse to penthouse. We saw it with the Commanders with Jaden Daniels, outhouse to penthouse. If you get the quarterback, life could change very quickly in this league. Now, I'm not sitting here and telling you that the Giants are in the penthouse. They're still a 2-win football team. But you look at the Giants, you saw energy, you saw life, you saw fans happy, and for the most part, the Giant fan in the last 5, 6, 7 years, they've been ashamed to be Giant fans. They've been embarrassed by the putrid, pathetic sloppiness that you usually see from that dreck of a football team. But there's a new energy with the Giants, and it's because of two people. Jaxson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. And I'll tell you this. When I did my draft evaluation, I was not a huge fan of Jaxson Dart. That game up against Florida in the swamp at the end of the year really did stick out to me. And I ranked my quarterbacks, and I had Cam Ward 1, Shedeur Sanders 2, and then I said I really don't like any of the other guys, but I put Jalen Milroe 3, Dylan Gabriel 4th, and Jaxson Dart 5. And I remember on draft night when the Giants drafted Jaxson Dart, which wasn't a surprise because you knew Brian Daboll loved him, but I thought they should have drafted Shedeur Sanders. And I knew I was going to be wrong on that take. And maybe Shedeur ends up getting it together. Now he's quarterback 2 with the Cleveland Browns. But I knew I was going to be wrong on that take. And I knew that maybe I was going to eat my words about Jaxson Dart early on. And it was during the preseason. I saw a quarterback that looked ready in the preseason. And that's why Mark Schlereth and I came on this show about a month before the season started. And we said it is an absolute mistake. Or 2 weeks before the season started. It's an absolute mistake if the Giants don't start Jaxson Dart week 1. Because he looks ready, and there's no guy in his place that was going to be able to carry the baton. Because we all knew that Russell Wilson was washed. And we got dragged online, Mark Schlereth and I. Giants fans. There's one clown, some Giant fan. He's like, this just shows what sports talk radio is right now. Hot takes with poor analysis. Where's that guy today? Where's that fool today? Because I was right. You were wrong. Because Jaxson Dart should have been starting week 1. Now, with that being said, you look at Jaxson Dart. That dude's got moxie. You know who that guy is? Stay with me on this. He reminds me a little bit like Dan Campbell. You say, Zach, coach? He reminds me of Dan Campbell with less caffeine. Because Dan Campbell talks a big game. Jaxson Dart talks a big game too. Now, on the football field, he's got that Dan Campbell mentality, right? He's got to take it easy a little bit. I understand you take a few extra hits right now. You try to extend the plays, and that's a little swagger that fires up the football team. You can't do that for the entirety of your career. You're going to get yourself killed. But that dude, when I spoke to him last night and he was at the podium, he kind of has a just aura and swagger to him that reminds me of a little bit like Dan Campbell when I heard him turn around the Lions. And also, the first time I talked to Joe Burrow at the Heisman Trophy presentation. There's just a cool swagger to him where he's confident, but it's not arrogance. And you know that just completely goes throughout the entire locker room and changes the mentality of a dreck of an organization and brings finally optimism and hope that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And just maybe, the New York Giants could be good once again. I don't know if Jaxson Dart's going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't know if Jaxson Dart is going to be viewed as a great quarterback, but the Giants have a guy that has a chance to be a franchise quarterback. That's what I saw. That's what we've seen already in 3 games. I know you had the turnover situation with him and Cam up against the Saints, but he beat the Chargers and he beat the defending Super Bowl champions. And last night he's talking about in the postgame, I wasn't here when they were horrible. We're trying to change the standard. We're trying to bring more intensity. We're trying to bring a new energy. And through 3 starts with Jaxson Dart, I don't know what this Giants season's going to be. I don't know what the career of Jaxson Dart's going to be, but I know that the Giants fan at least has some hope. And you got to feel right now like you got the guy. Ultimately, you got to prove it over the entirety of a season and multiple seasons, but this is how bleak it was for the Giants. And you have a guy with the positive mentality, a guy that talks a big game, and that just goes throughout the locker room, and it makes people believe. And I saw Giant fans cheer last night like how I haven't seen Giants fans cheer in a very long time. This was me talking to Jaxson Dart after the game about what this win did mean up against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Jaxson, with what you guys are trying to build going up against a team like Philly that just won the Super Bowl last year, to have this performance today, what type of message do you guys think you sent?
Well, first of all, we can't be naive to, everything. So we hear what people say. And it definitely, lights a fire in us. And, me and Scott talked about, last week we felt like it was kind of just, on us, losing that game. And we felt like we moved the ball just fine. So, our big emphasis was just to, make sure that we take care of the ball. And we felt like, if we do that, then we're going to be able to move the ball up the field. So, just really proud of how the guys played. And I think that, we're just trying to set a standard of intensity here each and every day.
That's a guy that something I love. And multiple times in the game last night or the post game last night, he said, I hear what people say about us. He was even talking about the spread underdog talk in the Pat McAfee show. So this guy is listening to what's being said. Because how many times as an athlete or a coach, we don't know that everyone thinks we suck. We don't know that everyone thinks we're going to get our brains beat in. And that motivated him. And that's new. That's refreshing. I like that. I like hearing that. Here is Cam Scadaboo on Dart and him changing the Giants narrative.
Me and him do a lot of things on the side together, talk a lot together about, kind of getting this turned around. Not doing it on our own, but getting everyone to buy in and continue to stay positive and work to be better. The franchise has been a losing franchise the last couple of years, but that's not who we are right now. we need to continue to build and build and build each and every day and have these guys with positive mindsets and, get away from that losing mindset. So, we won the game tonight, and I felt that through these guys. I felt the confidence through no matter what, going up by 3, going down by 4. I felt that through these guys. So it's been awesome, and like I said, I'm excited to see what these guys do in the future.
And then I'll play you one more. Kayvon Thibodeau, after the game last night, was on with Emmanuel Acho and LaShawn McCoy. I wonder if Troy Taylor was there. Is that too soon to say? But anyway, Kayvon Thibodeau was on with Emmanuel Acho and also Shady McCoy last night. And remember at the Super Bowl last year when him and Des Bryant were getting into it and he came on the show and he said a word that you can't say on the radio, but he said it anyway. And he said, F the Cowboys. Well, this is what Kayvon Thibodeau had to say last night after beating the Eagles.
What up? Hey, my dog lit. My dog lit right now. Congrats on the dub. Come on, man. Them Eagles. Hey, let's go. Oh, my bad. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all think my boys like that? Come on, man. Hey, we came. We played hard. Nah, that's a great team, but we needed that one.
So there you go. Think about what the Giant fan has been able to go through in the last 24 hours. You now have Jaxson Dart talking big, Cam Scadaboo talking big, and Kayvon Thibodeau being able to say F the Eagles, and it came in a win. What an unbelievable night at MetLife Stadium. We'll take a break. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. When we come on back, we go from the positive to the negative. The Giants are in a good spot right now. I'm not telling the Giants to go to the playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen. But the Giants give you a reason to watch each and every week because they're building something with this young quarterback. On the other side, you have an Eagles team that just won the Super Bowl. And there are big issues in Philadelphia. And there are issues really with two people in Philadelphia. We'll get into Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network.
I wonder how our buddy Spike Eskin is doing today. Our former boss. It's got to be a tough radio show to host today. Well, it's probably easy if you're the host. But you're basically a therapist for 4 hours in Philadelphia. Now, there's a lot of Eagles media members there last night at the game. So they were watching the Phillies, because a lot of them are Phillies fans because they grew up right in Philadelphia. So they were watching the Phillies on TV, and then they were watching the Eagles right in front of them. So when that game was coming to an end and the bases are loaded and you got 2 outs and Orion Kirkring is on the mound, my phone where I was watching the game on via the TBS app, I guess was delayed by maybe 6 or 7 seconds. So I'm sitting there watching the game, and it was right at halftime, I think, when the Phillies game was coming to an end. And I hear someone say, "You gotta be kidding me." And I don't know, like, it wasn't as if it was a "you gotta be kidding me," as if it was elation. It seemed like it was negative, but I also didn't know who it was coming from. So it could have been also, remember, you have a lot of Mets fans in that press box with the Giants playing. So I thought maybe to myself, "You got to be kidding me," could have been, "Oh, wow, the Phillies just made some great play." Like, I didn't know which way it was going. So I'm sitting there watching the game on my phone, and the ball goes right back to Orion Kirkring. And I guess it hit his ankle or something. And he botched it, and then he panicked. And JT Realmuto was like, "First. Go to first, go to first, go to first." That's what he's doing. And instead, Orion takes the ball and chucks it way over the cabeza of one JT Realmuto. And that's how the Dodgers walk it off, and they end up winning that series in 4 games. There'll be no Game 5 in South Philadelphia. I feel bad for Orion Kirkring. I do. That is, like, I know that it doesn't mean that the Phillies would have won the game. It doesn't mean they would have won the series. I'm not comparing it directly to Bill Buckner. But you think of these moments that people are associated with for the rest of their life, whether it's Bill Buckner or the Saints safety on the Minneapolis Miracle, Marcus Williams, I think his name was. There's just certain people that you remember. And, right, Bill Buckner was a really damn good player. But there's just certain players that you remember for one mistake. That it's just synonymous with them for the rest of their lives. Like, even look at Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, I know the last 4 years it's gotten away from him. But this guy was arguably a Hall of Fame quarterback and still can be. And when I think of Russell Wilson, even a Super Bowl champion quarterback, what's the first thing I think of? I think of the goal line interception. Matt Ryan, who was an MVP in this league. What's the first thing I think of? 28-3. So there's just certain moments. But then there's isolated moments. And when this happened with Orion Kirkring, I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, that just shows you the pressure of postseason baseball, right? And then after the game, I thought to myself, did he not know that there were 2 outs? Because it's easy. I don't care where the runner is. It's a force play. You go to first. Doesn't matter if the runner scores. The inning's over. So I think it was more so I think he knew the outs. But once that ball hits off of him, it's scrambling panic. I just got to throw it. And that's a youngster, and that's how the Philly season ended. Now, he'll be the scapegoat today. There's no doubt about it. But the 3 guys that are most to blame are the big bats and the top of the order for the Phillies. Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, and Bryce Harper. Because in just their 3 losses, forget the game that they won. In just their 3 losses, those guys combined for 3 hits and 15 strikeouts. 3 hits and 15 strikeouts in those 3 losses. So not only do you have the Philly season end, where I think this Phillies team is done and they're dead. Like, they can still be good, but they're not winning a championship. You went from in the World Series to then on the verge of getting back to the World Series. You lose 6-7 at home to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Last year, you lose to the Mets, the New York Mets, when Francisco Lindor hits that grand slam at Citi Field. And then this year, you win the NL East once again. And I know you're going up against the Dodgers. Let's be real. Until someone takes out the Dodgers, I don't care if they're home. I don't care if they're on the road. I don't care if they're on Mars. As long as the Dodgers are playing, I'm thinking they're winning the World Series. But you lose to the Dodgers now. And this was supposed to be your year. And now I think this group is done. You know, we'll see what happens in the future of a JT Realmuto and a Kyle Schwarber. But that was the painful loss for the Philadelphia sports fan last night. And then we know that the Philly fan, their true love, are the Philadelphia Eagles. And I get it, they just won a Super Bowl last year. But you look at this Eagles team, all right, they were lucky to win up against the Rams. They blew a game up against the Denver Broncos. And now Jaxson Dart and Cam Scatterbo punched you in the mouth for 4 straight quarters. Just absolutely annihilated you. So you knew going into this game that A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts were a storyline. And supposedly they had this meeting, right? And it was a 3-hour meeting or multiple-hour meeting. And, right, Jalen Hurts barely talked about it, but he talked about it this week in the media, acknowledged that it happened. Saquon Barkley, who was a part of the meeting, Barkley and A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, he acknowledged it happened. But A.J. Brown, I guess, wasn't available at the end of the week. So after the game, he was asked about it. And this is what A.J. Brown had to say about the meeting with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts.
What was behind that?
I don't recall the meeting.
Oh, okay. The meeting never happened.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Those guys said it did happen.
Oh, you didn't talk to them.
You weren't in the meeting?
I don't recall.
Or you don't want to just talk?
I don't recall.
So clearly he doesn't want to talk about the meeting. That is how I take it. All right, so maybe he doesn't want to make it more of a distraction, but by handling it with the weird energy the way that he did and the bizarre way that he handled it, it now makes it more of a storyline. So A.J. Brown had to clarify this today on Twitter. And he said, just to clear this up, this wasn't a meeting or a sit down. I said, I don't recall because it got painted like there was tension, and so I had to step in. That's not true. Saquon had to step in. That's not true. I was walking to my car, saw them, and stopped to talk. Nothing more. This is a mess. A.J. Brown, can we just call it how it is? He doesn't like his quarterback right now. And you go back to that Denver Broncos game, whether it was on him slowing down or whether it was on Jalen Hurts overthrowing the football, that was a misconnection. That was a problem. And then last night in 20-17, this one's definitely on Hurts. He's got Devontae Smith wide open, house call, 89, 90-yard touchdown, and he wasn't even in the same zip code that Devontae Smith was in. And also on the Cordell Flott interception, he had A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown anytime touchdown. Second week in a row, I'm done betting anything associated with the Eagles. After they did to me with the Rams, when I was on the Rams plus 3.5, then I was on them last week with the Broncos, had A.J. Brown anytime touchdown. This week, A.J. Brown anytime touchdown. I'm not betting anything with A.J. Brown and the Eagles for the rest of the season. But he also had A.J. Brown open for a touchdown. He throws it towards the way of Cordell Flott, and it gets intercepted. I know Jalen Hurts is Super Bowl MVP. I think Jalen Hurts is a heck of a player. He's not seeing the field well right now. And he's not connecting with A.J. Brown and also Devontae Smith. And you saw a shot at the end of the game last night of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith on the sideline, and you could tell they were furious. You could tell that they were dejected. And I think Devontae Smith's going to be a good soldier, right? He's a consummate professional going back to his days at Alabama. He's one of my favorite college football players of all time, and he won a Heisman Trophy. Jalen Hurts, though, is never going to say anything crazy publicly. I think that's his problem. He's a robot when they win. He's a robot when they lose. He's emotionalist when they win. He's emotionalist when they lose. You know, I was sitting next to this guy after he won the Super Bowl. I was at the Eagles after party, and you would think that this guy didn't even win the game. You know, I remember talking to him after they punched a ticket to the NFC, to the Super Bowl the first time, and I was like, yeah, how do you kind of describe this feeling of going to the Super Bowl? He's like, we're going to the Super Bowl. It was nothing. It was a robot. And you know A.J. Brown wears his emotions on his sleeves. Does he get a little crazy from time to time? Absolutely. With this whole meeting answer after the game, the inner excellence book, reading that on the sideline. Like, he's a weird dude. But here's the thing. There are signs here now. And people could be in denial. People could deny. You can't tell me that this is a warm and fuzzy and they'll be good, they'll get it going between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. I think last night was the nail in the coffin for A.J. Brown in Philadelphia. I don't think he's getting traded by the deadline, let me be clear. But in this upcoming offseason, I think 100% A.J. Brown is going to force himself out of Philadelphia. And it's crazy how this could just spiral so quickly. And there was stuff, right, 2 years ago. There was stuff even last year. And now even coming off a Super Bowl win, it keeps on becoming an issue. And where there's smoke, there's a fire. And I'm at the point where you know the Eagles aren't giving up on the Super Bowl MVP in Jalen Hurts. You know that they're tied up to him with the contract, and they have a contract with A.J. Brown too. I don't think that deal is happening by the deadline. But this offseason, I think the Eagles are going to say, all right, we got to pick one or the other. And we've seen this tale before many times. Do you pick the QB or do you pick the wide receiver? And 9.9 times out of 10, because the quarterback's the most important position, they're going to pick the quarterback. And who knows, A.J. Brown will probably be on the New England Patriots next year, reunited with his old head football coach and Mike Vrabel, and catching touchdown passes from one Drake May. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. We'll take a timeout. We're working on a new time with Jermaine Eluemunor. He should join us at some point today. He had some daddy daycare duties, as it was informed to me, so he can't join us right at 3:40 p.m. Eastern time. But we're trying to find a different time for the Giants' offensive linemen after their great victory up against the Philadelphia Eagles last night. Josh Appel's going to join us at 4:20 p.m. Eastern time for some NFL picks. And former New York Giants Super Bowl winning quarterback, Super Bowl MVP, Phil Simms is going to stop by at 5 p.m. Eastern time as well. Whole lot to do on a football Friday. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Update time first. Here's the Ackman, Rich Ackerman.
Infinity Sports Network. Sports Flash.
And this report is brought to you by Old Trapper. Listen up, because not all beef jerky is the same. Old Trapper is better for you and higher in essential protein than chips, sugar-filled energy bars, or candy. So ask for Old Trapper by name, because no other jerky compares. Old Trapper, what's your beef? The 4-1 Buccaneers will host the 4-1 49ers and will have several injuries to overcome, as Mike Evans out again for Tampa Bay with a hamstring. Neither Chris Godwin nor Bucky Irving will play. Chargers tackle Joe Alt is out with an ankle injury. Trey Pipkins also out. And the Browns officially named Shedeur Sanders their backup quarterback. Two division series are going the distance. The Cubs force the Game 5 tomorrow in Milwaukee. And tonight in Seattle, the Mariners host the Tigers for the right to meet the Blue Jays. Detroit blew the division but beat the Guardians in a deciding game on the road and will now try to do it again. And manager A.J. Hinch said everyone knows what's at stake.
Everybody on both sides is going to leave it on the field, and that whether you've played in these or not, every single player, coach, manager knows what's at stake and what tomorrow night can bring, both positively and the downside.
The Tigers send Cy Young Award winner Tarek Skubal to the mound while the Mariners counter with George Kirby. I'm Rich Ackerman.
This is the Infinity Sports Network. Follow us on Instagram. Our handle is Infinity Sports Network. That's Infinity Sports Network to follow us on Instagram.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Time for your daily news brief. We get you caught up on the rumors, reports, and reconnaissance from the day in sports.
It's time to ask the pros. Where the listener gets asked us a question, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply tweet your question at INF Sportsnet or at Zach Gelb using the hashtag Ask the Pros. Be listening later in the show. We might answer your question. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Alrighty, we got to talk about our own. I am about to fall asleep last night. Probably got home from the game at about 1 a.m. Eastern time-ish. So I knew, probably take me an hour to go to sleep, right? You got to brush your teeth, wash your face, wash your hands after riding the New York City subway, probably take a shower or two. And I just knew it would take, an hour to kind of just unwind, pretty much. So I was perusing Twitter, because usually when I can't sleep, I am perusing Twitter, and I see a video of Sean Morash, the artist formerly known as Mraz. And this guy was crying. Literal tears down his face, crying over the New York Giants getting a victory up against the Philadelphia Eagles. This was on Talking Giants podcast. Sean Morash having a breakdown in a positive way, tears of joy. Usually it's a breakdown and just we fear for his life because we fear he's going to pop because he's getting so angry. But this is Morash with tears of joy over what the Giants did.
We have been destroyed by these people in Philadelphia for so long. I hate them. And I don't care who hears it. I hate them. And I'm so sick and tired of the Rocky song. I'm so sick and tired of going to that stadium with the stupid people with their green stupid jerseys and laughing at us. And I've been so tired of the last year and a half of, we got Saquon, we got this. I've been so tired of the last 48 hours of this documentary and Pat Leonard's stupid questions. I've been so tired of it. And tonight, Jaxson Dart and Cam Scatterbull went into that stadium with the Eagles thinking so little of us that they pulled back Jalen Carter because of our turf, and we shoved a win right up all of their asses. And not just a win. We blew the Eagles the out on national TV for the world to see and to stamp our legacy with this quarterback to start off. Because tonight, for the first time in too many damn years versus the Philadelphia Eagles, we had the better quarterback. We had the better running back, and we had the better football team, Justin. How good does that feel, man?
I am floored right now. You said you would get emotional.
Bro, I hate the Eagles so much. The team I hate the most in all my life. I have no voice, man. I've been at Yankee Stadium watching this baseball team all week, and all I wanted tonight was some peace and quiet, not to have my nose erupted by the Eagles, and tonight we did it, man. We did it. And I don't give a how pathetic this looks for a 2-4 team. This means so much, man. This means so much.
Oh my God.
This is cloud nine, man. This
I
is what
love
Talking
you, man.
Giants is all about, right?
I love you, man.
That's a father of two, Sean Morash, by the way. So you thought that was good. This is concise. I think it may be even better. Manny Rodriguez of our very own Maggie and Perloff show, one of their producers, he got his wisdom teeth pulled today. So they make you loopy, right? They knock you out for that surgery. I've had it done before. And this is Manny walking out of the wisdom teeth surgery to, I guess, I don't know who picked him up. Someone has to love Manny, and they picked him up to drive him home. And Manny wanted to do a video recapping the Giants game.
Your boy just got his wisdom teeth removed. I can't feel my lips. I can't feel my tongue. I can't feel my mouth. But you know what I can feel? A Giants victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's go Giants.
I just got my wisdom teeth removed.
Let's go Giants.
I can't feel my tongue. I can't feel my mouth. But I can feel that win over the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's go Giants.
Let's go Giants.
Let's go Giants.
We got some sick son of bitches around here. We really do. Do these guys have life outside of sports? Like, I can't imagine, and I love sports, I can't imagine after getting my wisdom teeth pulled out.
How about that victory over the Patriots up against the Buffalo Bills? Take that. You already know that. How about that? Drake May, we got a quarterback. Shove it up your ass, Giants fans.
Or, Stephon Diggs, so romantic. Football's so romantic. The Bills have kicked their ass the last 4 years. We beat them. Oh, my God. Two losers. Seriously. I love Marash. I love Manny, but they're two losers. Like, do they have lives outside? Like, Marash, I know his family. His family, great people. I've seen Marash, like, outside of the sports world. He does have a life outside of the sports world, but when he does things like that, I really wonder things. Manny, I don't know if he has a life outside of sports. I really don't. My man. You know what? I'll use a Sean Marash line. That was some special stuff. It really was. Let's go to Saquon Barkley on Lane Johnson saying the offense is predictable.
Do you think we're predictable? I mean, everyone knew we were running the ball. We still got it off. So I think we also got to get back into that attitude, to that mindset. Not really give a what people are trying to do. And that's something that I'm definitely doing.
And let's hear Lane Johnson calling out the offensive play call.
We get behind the chains. I get very predictable. I think sometimes. And so, yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, but, we have a lot of season ahead of us. And confident with the guys in this room and how we work to get it fixed and to, make games not so hard on ourselves, make it more fluid. I feel like we've been very stagnant offensively. At the end of the day, we got to be able to keep the defense guessing, not be predictable. And, yeah, like you said, we have spurts, but there's nothing that's consistent about what we're doing.
So it was announced earlier this morning by Browns head football coach Kevin Stefanski that Shedeur Sanders is going to be quarterback too. This was yesterday. Shedeur was asked, is he excited after Joe Flacco getting traded, no longer being on the team, and that's probably going to bump him up the depth chart.
No, I'm in a great mental space overall. So I would say you tend to get a little bit more excited, when you see a light at the end of the tunnel, for sure. My job at first was, to prepare the defense, and I think I did a pretty good job. Nah, but they got Myles Garrett and everybody over there, so, But anyways, I did a pretty good job, and whatever my role is here, I'm thankful and I'm happy just to do that.
I love this guy. I know I was annoyed with him for the whole mime stuff, and I thought it was petulant behavior. Look at the defense, how they're playing. I think I got him prepared pretty well. I did a pretty good job. I love the way that Shedeur Sanders entertains. Shedeur Sanders, he makes it clear he's focused on helping Dylan and not him get an opportunity to start.
No, we're going to make sure we do everything we can to make sure Dylan ready for the game, so, whatever that means. So each and every day, even when Joe is the start of everything, prepare the right way and be ready to know that you can get out there at any point in time. So I'm overly confident within myself. So I know when I first got here, I'm ready to play. But, it's up to the coaches and, whatever decision, they make, then I'm fine with it.
And we'll see if Jamar Chase is going to play this weekend for the Bengals. If he does, they'll be going up against the Green Bay Packers. And Jamar Chase has a new quarterback in Joe Flacco, used to be on the Cleveland Browns. Jamar Chase on what the message does get sent to the team when they did trade for Joe Flacco.
I appreciate organizations trying to make this work, so we got to make it work. And just see that, we got a chance. Defense is doing a good enough job for us to help us out. Our playmakers got to make plays in space. That's what they see, and that's what they wanted to keep going. They're just giving us an opportunity to make more of those plays happen.
And it's an illness for Jamar Chase, by the way. That's why he's on the injury report. So I would assume, you don't have to assume, you make an ass out of you and me, that he is going to play. The Tulane Green Wave, they rolled to a victory last night. It wasn't all that pretty, but they got the job done. They made the Pirates walk the plank, the ECU Pirates, as they beat East Carolina by a score of 26-19. John Summerall, I think, is going to be a really good head coach at a power school one day. He is 5-1 to start this season. Their lone loss did come to Ole Miss. John Summerall, we'll talk on ESPN after the game, was not happy even though Tulane did beat ECU.
A really sloppy football team that finds ways to win games, and I'm going to lose my mind because we're so immature. We've got to grow up fast. I'm glad we won. I'm not happy with how we played.
That's a football coach. There's just something about a raspy voice with a football coach where I say to myself, that's a football coach. So I like that, you know. He's annoyed with the performance, but obviously they're going to take a win any way that they could get him. Let's get to Orion Kirkring. Last night, you had that error. Ball was hit right to him. Go to first. You extend the game. You get out of the jam. Ball bounces off of him. He panics. And then even though JT Realmuto's like first base, he throws it home. And obviously, it was nowhere close to being a play that was completed to get the last out. Here's Orion Kirkring on the error that lost the game and the series.
Just hit off my foot. Just kind of, once that pressure got to me, I just thought it was a faster throw to JT, a little quicker throw than trying to cross body the Bryce. So, just poor throw.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys that know what you do. One of the first ones there, just what do the guys say to you in that moment?
Just keep your head up. It's an honest mistake. Just it's baseball. Happens, and just keep your head up. You'll be good for a long time to come. It's not my fault. Just had opportunities to score. Just keep your head up. This really sucks right now, but hopefully keep pushing and get over this hump.
You know, I give the kid credit. He's a youngster. It's a horrible life moment for him. You know, I don't want to say it's going to define his career, but it's going to be tough to escape this one. And he stood there and he answered every question last night. Here is Bryce Harper on the Philadelphia Phillies once again falling short.
Tough situation, obviously. You know, we want to win and we want to, advance to the NLCS. And it's a really good team over there. We went, toe-to-toe today and pretty heavyweight fight, back and forth and things like that. So really good pitching, obviously. And, they came out on top.
And you look, hey, I think the issues of Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, and Kyle Schwarber. And the 3 losses they had, once again, 15 strikeouts, only 3 hits. Unacceptable. Hey, Stu, just to make me laugh one more time on a Football Friday, can I get Manny one more time, please? That was awesome.
Your boy just got his wisdom teeth removed. I can't feel my lips. I can't feel my tongue. I can't feel my mouth. But you know what I can feel? A Giants victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's go Giants.
What a week of audio we've had. We've had Mr. Positive calling in Newsmax with Chris Cuomo to give a shout out to Bart and Shep before talking about domestic terrorism. Then we've had Sean Marash crying after a Giants win, and then Manny Rodriguez with his wisdom teeth pulled doing a Giants hype video. Oh my God. What a week. What a week. The reality script writers have really treated us well this week. When we come on back, we'll get into some college football. Josh Appel going to join us at 4:20 for NFL picks, and Phil Simms at 5 p.m. Eastern time.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show.
Alrighty, and away we go. Hour number 2 of our radio program. That's right, it is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. We'll get back into the stunning events that did occur at MetLife Stadium last night between the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles, as the Giants got a big victory up against the Eagles, and it's panic time in Philadelphia. Not only did you have the Philly season come to an end last night in pathetic fashion, but now you got issues with A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, and you got a football team that lost back-to-back games where they blew a 17-3 lead up against the Broncos, and then they just quit last night at the hands of one Cam Scattaboo and also Jaxson Dart. Big weekend of college football. Josh Appel going to join us coming up 20 minutes from now. We'll do NFL picks. At 5 p.m. Eastern time, Phil Simms is going to join us as well. But let's do a little college football here. Obviously, we talk a ton of college football all throughout the week, but it is a football Friday, so we'll squeeze in the big games this upcoming weekend. Ohio State, Illinois, that's where we'll get things started. I think there's a big spot for Julian Sayin. You look at him, obviously week 1 up against Texas, it was a big stage. They didn't win that game because of Julian Sayin. They won that game because of the defense of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State has maybe the best defense in the country. It is just stupid good how good their defense is, led by Caleb Downs. But you look at their offense, you have the best wide receiving duo in the country in Smith and Tate, and you look at their quarterback in Julian Sayin. I'm waiting for him to have his moment. And you look at the schedule so far, the Texas game was a chance he could have his moment. After that, like, who cares what he does about against Grambling and Ohio and Washington and Minnesota? But this is a game that you circle with Illinois that you say, okay, what is Illinois this year? They're supposed to be a playoff team. They got smacked around by Indiana. They did beat USC. I think Illinois is a good team. I'm not going to sit there and tell you they're a great team. But after that, until the Michigan game, who do you really play? You play Wisconsin, easy peasy. And I'm talking about from the Ohio State perspective. Then you play Penn State. All of a sudden, that was supposed to be a big game. Penn State's out of the top 25. They have 2 losses after losing to UCLA and the week prior to that, Oregon. Then you play Purdue. Then you play UCLA. Then you play Rutgers. And then you get Michigan. So there's only a few more opportunities in this regular season for Julian Sayin to have a big moment in the national spotlight. And there's a chance to do that on Big Noon Kickoff with the game being on Fox coming up tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And on the other side, this is really your last opportunity if you're Illinois. If this group of Brett Bielema and this group with Luke Altmaier are going to make the college football playoff, they're going to need to go get this victory. Because if they lose here, Illinois is not going to the Big Ten championship game. They'd have 2 losses in the Big Ten. They already lost to Indiana. This is a must-win for Illinois. They got to win. You know, whether you want to say you can't lose it, you got to have it or must. I think this is a must-win for Illinois. You beat Ohio State now, you will make the college football playoff if you just take care of business the rest of the way, because that would be a big boy victory, right? You had 2 big boy opportunities, Indiana, Ohio State. If you beat Ohio State, huge win. Obviously, at the time, they'd be the top 25 team, 21st ranked USC Trojans. But after this game up against Ohio State, you have Washington, Rutgers, Maryland, Wisconsin, Northwestern. That should be win, 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 win. So this season is on the line for Illinois. If Illinois loses this and they have 2 losses, what's going to really be their case to make the college football playoff? Like, if strength of schedule does matter, and let's say Oregon's going to make it, and Ohio State's going to make it, you know, Indiana right now is trending like they're going to make it as well, then this is going to be one of those games where if you're Illinois, you almost have to win it, even though most people don't think you are going to win it. All righty, let's keep it moving in the college football world. We will then get to Alabama and Missouri. Alabama's obviously coming off a great 2-week stretch where they beat Georgia, and then they avenged the loss, obviously, to Vanderbilt from a year ago. And you take a glance at this one between Alabama and Missouri. Here's what I think the key of the game is. This Alabama run defense has not been great. They have not been. And Ahmad Hardy is maybe the best running back in football right now, in college football. You know, we look at the numbers that Ashton Genty had last year. And, I look at Ahmad Hardy. He's having that Ashton Genty type of season. He has 730 rushing yards now and 9 rushing touchdowns. You know, he opened up the season 10 for 100 and a touchdown. Then up against Kansas, 25 for $112 and a touchdown. Against, I think it was Louisiana Raging Cajuns, excuse me. He had 22 carries, 250 yards, and 3 touchdowns. South Carolina, SEC school, 22 carries for 138 yards and a touchdown to start SEC play. And then up against UMass, you can forget about them. But he had 24 carries for 130 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's putting together some big games. And this Alabama defense is good. We saw them make the plays last week, and that was the true reason why they beat Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt with the 2 interceptions in the 4th quarter, the fumble, that kid Justin Jefferson who punched out the football, and that really did change the complexion of the game because Vanderbilt was in control early after an early pick by Ty Simpson. But Jam Miller's really good for Alabama, and we've seen his importance to the team. Ty Simpson is coming into his own. He's playing like one of the better quarterbacks in the country. But I think this game comes down to Hardy up against the Alabama defense, and we'll see how that does pan out. Now, let's get to Indiana, Oregon. Outside of Oklahoma and Texas, and I think you could even say, even including Oklahoma and Texas, but I'm really excited for Oklahoma and Texas this weekend in Red River. But the game that I'm just as excited, if not more excited, about is Indiana and Oregon. And nothing would surprise me in this one. I hope we're going to get a good, high-scoring, close game. That's what I hope. But if you tell me Indiana has their moment and they blow out Oregon, I wouldn't be surprised. If you tell me Oregon blows out Indiana, I wouldn't be surprised. And if you tell me that this is a thrilling victory that Indiana wins late or Oregon wins late, wouldn't be surprised. But I was reading from ESPN Insights this morning. Indiana's only losses under Curt Cignetti were against top 5 foes. Obviously, Oregon is ranked 3rd in the country. Indiana's ranked 7th. Against top 5 opponents, Indiana in the last 2 seasons under Curt Cignetti, 0-2, 16 points per game, point differential, minus 33. Against all other opponents, 16-0, 46.5 points per game, point differential, plus 558. Holy smokes. Indiana all time is 1-72 against AP top 5 teams. All time 1-72 versus AP top 5 teams. They've dropped 46 straight, tied with Wake Forest for the longest top 5 losing streak ever. If it's ever going to happen, this is the weekend it happens. Now, could there be more favorable matchups down the road? Sure. And Oregon's not a favorable matchup. Oregon's a heck of a football team. Dan Lanning, the only thing that he has left to do is go win a national championship. But I'm looking at this one, and the spread concerns me. I think the spread is disrespectful to Indiana. But that's what concerns me. Because Indiana's a heck of a football team now. And that spread, even though the Ducks are home, and I think the world of Dan Lanning and Dante Moore, and their young wide receiver Moore too is unbelievable. But Oregon's a 7.5-point favorite. If you're a football fan, what do you think when you hear that right away? Aren't they begging you? Vegas is begging you to take Indiana with the points. So that's going to be a game. Mendoza up against Moore, Lanning up against Cignetti, 2 of the coaches in college football, maybe the biggest personalities. That's going to be a damn fun one. All righty, let's get to Red River. It's looking like Mateer's going to play. I saw he was probable, right? I know that Brent Venables was basically not trying to give you anything, and then it came out that he was probable. I look at the spread where it's shifted all week. Texas, 1.5 points. Then Oklahoma was a 1.5-point favorite yesterday. Now it's back up to Texas minus a 1.5. I'm betting Texas. I think Texas is going to win the game. You know, I'm going to take Texas money line. That's what I'm going to do here. Minus 1.5 points. If I'm right that Texas wins and it's like 33-32, I'm going to be so pissed off. So I will take Texas money line this week for one reason and one reason only. I don't think Texas is a better team than Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma is good. I don't know if they're great. But I look at Texas. Everyone's out on Texas, right? The Arch Manning, or Ark Manning, as some people once called him. The Arch Manning boat, everyone has left it. The bandwagon, everyone has ran off of it. He was horrible, jittery, did not read the field well, made poor decisions, didn't get it going until late up against Ohio State, and then up against Florida, it looked ugly. And then you got Sark with some of the biggest loser energy that I've ever heard. Oh, you know, I like to see what 135 other teams would do if they had to go play Ohio State, or if they had to go to the swamp and play Florida. Ooh. Yeah, Alex Gold should have a problem with that. With USF. USF, Sark. You're coaching at Texas, all right? Texas. So there's a lot of reasons to slam and just absolutely just unload on Texas right now. And I think you look at this spread, everyone's saying to themselves, oh, Oklahoma. I'm taking Texas. I think Arch Manning has his moment. That line has had some problems, but I think this is the week that Arch Manning puts it together and Texas finds a way to stun Oklahoma. Rivalry games, anything can happen in rivalry games. You look around football, NFC East matchups. Eagles, Giants. Who had the Giants winning last night? Giants did. Last week, Patriots, Bills. Who had the Patriots winning? Patriots did. I think we see this in Red River. Oklahoma, Texas. Most people are going to pick Oklahoma. Mateer probably coming back. Venables has this team undefeated. Texas already has 2 losses, not ranked, not in the top 25. I believe that this is an Arch Manning game. And I think Arch Manning's going to play very well. And there's nothing really base it off of other than that's just how this college football season is going. Where just when you think you figured a team out, there is a surprise that happens. Florida coming off the big win up against Texas last week. Now they go play Texas A&M. I love A&M in this game. I absolutely love A&M. I'm laying the 7.5 points with the Aggies. They're at College Station. They're at Kyle Field. Marcel Reed's playing really good football. The running back, Le'Veon Moss, is a heck of a running back. And you look at the two wide receivers, those two wide receivers that transferred in, they're having really good seasons as well. And we've seen a different gear. We've seen a different level to Marcel Reed this year. Now, Le'Veon Moss, we're going to see if he's going to play in this one. That's my one concern. But even if not, I do believe that Marcel Reed's going to be good enough to carry this team. And also, let's just call it what it is. Wouldn't this be so Billy Napier? Where, okay, you get people off your back for a week. You just had a big victory up against Texas. And I'm not saying get annihilated, but then you get beat where A&M covers the spread. I just think A&M's on a different playing field right now than what Florida is. All right, let's go to Georgia and Auburn. This is a must-win for Georgia. You know what? Let me rephrase that. This is you got to have it for Georgia. Auburn, to me, outside of their Week 1 victory up against Baylor, what have they done? They beat Ball State. They beat South Alabama. I know that the officials screwed them up against Oklahoma. And, they had a respectable effort up against A&M at the end. They put lipstick on a pig. But I just don't trust this Georgia team. Their offense is, after what they showed up against Baylor, has been wildly inconsistent. I'm just going to trust Gunnar Stockton here, who I always think is good. I don't know if he's always great, but he's always good. I like Georgia on the road this week, going to Jordan-Hare Stadium and find a way to get the victory. And I may parlay that. A&M laying 7.5. I've been trying to stay away from parlays because I've been hitting a lot of the first two legs of a parlay and I get burned on the third leg. So, I'm going to isolate it this week. I'm going to isolate it. I'm going to do Georgia laying 3.5, A&M laying 7.5, Texas outright. Those are three games that I do like this week. Michigan, USC. I'm just fascinated in this one. Which Bryce Underwood's going to show up? I don't trust Lincoln Riley in a big game. USC's a 2.5-point favorite. I know you usually are a 3-point favorite when you're home. So it's not 3, but it's 2.5. I don't like that spread. I actually would have thought Michigan was going to be the favorite, but then I think that's Vegas telling you they don't really know what to expect from Michigan. Because what's Michigan's best win? Nebraska? You guys know me. I love Raiola and I love Rule, but that's not like some incredible victory. And they look lost up against Oklahoma. I think this is a week I want to see the legs of Bryce Underwood. And I want to see the dual threat ability of one Bryce Underwood. South Carolina, LSU. I don't want to say it's an elimination game because you could have two losses and get you in. LSU's offense coming off a bye. They got to be cleaner. They got to be crisper. This is an offense that has not been up to par, and the defense is there this year. And think about where LSU was after beating Clemson. They just had that loss to Ole Miss. They have one loss on the season. This is almost a game that LSU's got to get the job done. And for South Carolina, this season could turn ugly on them real quick. They're supposed to be a college football playoff team. They already have two losses. They lost to Vanderbilt and they lost to Missouri. They can't afford to lose another game the rest of the way. And I'll give you a read on one more game this weekend that I'm just interested in. Or actually two games, really, that I'm interested in. I am interested when you take a look at Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech. Not that I think Virginia Tech is any good. They've already fired their head football coach. But Georgia Tech is undefeated. They've been a little bit sloppy. Could we maybe see an upset this week? I trust Haynes King, so I don't think so. But it's just a game that you maybe want to monitor. Pitt, Florida State. Pitt's also been a team that has two losses. I thought they were going to be underrated this year. They've been very disappointed. Florida State is now at 2 losses after the Alabama win. So I'm curious to see what the buy-in level is from both those teams. And then I'll give you one more game. We are not going to have Sam Leavitt for Arizona State. Jeff Sims. This dude, how is he still a quarterback in college? Jeff Sims. I remember him when Matt Rule first got to Nebraska, fumbling away everything. And he's going up against Kyle Whittingham in Utah. But Jeff Sims, this guy who was at Georgia Tech with Jeff Collins, he's still a college quarterback.
6 years.
Oh, my God. I have friends that were 6 years in college. They weren't athletes, though. He's at Georgia Tech 2020, 2021, 2022, Nebraska 2023, Arizona State 2024, Arizona State 2025. He makes Perry Ellis, right, look young. That's what he does. Ay, ay, ay. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Josh Appel does a great job. Sports USA, NFL play-by-play. He's going to join us on the other side. We'll do some NFL picks with Josh Appel next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Zach Gelb Show.
Alrighty, this is Zach Gelb Show right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Josh Appel does a great job. Sports USA, NFL play-by-play. Coming up this week, he has a national call on the radio for Seahawks and Jaguars, which is a good game with the way Sam Darnold's playing right now, and the Jaguars coming off that huge victory up against the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Do some picks. Also talk a little NFL right now with Josh Appel. Josh, most importantly, by the way, is a phenomenal dinner guest. Myself, Mark Hochman, and Josh Appel went out for dinner when I was last in Florida, and Appel is a normal human being, and he doesn't eat like a 3-year-old like Alejandro Solana, who works on WQAM, and Josh Appel is here with us right now. Josh, what's happening?
Not much. I got my hair cut for you today, and I think that's the first time that I've ever had the pleasure of saying that my appetite and my palate is more mature than anybody else's. I'm pretty sure the night we went to, I think it was Maggie McFly's in Boca.
Yes.
I think I had a chicken Caesar salad. That's about as simple as it gets.
Well,
I don't
actually,
like cheese on it either. Like I'm a little peculiar.
So I had a salad that night as well. So it's not like we had this big macho man meal. But then I remember ordering a side of French fries. I go, I'm on vacation. Me ordering a salad is lame, and I ordered a side of French fries, and Appel just goes in his announcing voice, salad and French fries, isn't that quite a combination?
Which I'm a total hypocrite because I go with that move all the time.
Yeah.
I was told I had a teacher back in the day.
It's a fat guy meal with us trying to be healthy. That's really what it is.
Exactly. I had a teacher back in the day that told me if you make one smart decision per meal, you'll be fine. So my one smart decision in that meal was having the salad. So that excused the 3 Cokes that I had and the French fries.
Yeah. No doubt about it. Josh Appel here with us. Alrighty. Seahawks and Jaguars, get to the picks in just a bit. I know you can't pick this game, and neither will I, just in solidarity with one Josh Appel. But this Seahawks team, Sam Darnold is playing better than what I would have thought away from Kevin O'Connell with the Minnesota Vikings. The other side, Mr. Duval in Liam Cohen. He's got those guys really rocking and rolling. Only 1 loss on the season.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of started to write them off and thought, oh, here we go after Liam Cohen's introductory press conference. But when it comes down to it, you look at what his offense looked like when he was with McVay in Los Angeles. You look at what Baker Mayfield and that Bucs offense did last year. He completely revived not just their passing game there, but their run game was one of the worst in the league before Liam Cohen got to the Bucs. And then Rashad White has a better season. Bucky Irving bursts onto the scene. And now he comes to Jacksonville, and after Travis Etienne had one of the biggest regressions I've ever seen last season, Etienne's been one of the best backs in the NFL in this Liam Cohen offense. And I know Trevor Lawrence still has some turnover issues. We saw it in that Monday night game against the Chiefs, but he's slowly but surely starting to come around a bit. We're seeing them use Travis Hunter a bit more down the field. They've tried to get it to him, but they finally were able to connect on Monday night. And Brian Thomas seems like he's starting to get things going a bit too. Liam Cohen's doing a great job there. Anthony Campanile, what he's done with that defense. I know that turnovers aren't really sustainable, but when you're forcing takeaways at this clip that they are right now, they have 14 takeaways this year, and Devin Lloyd had the big 99-yard pick 6 on Monday night. I think the Jaguars are for real. They certainly have some things to clean up, but Seattle now coming on the road, early start on the East Coast, doesn't seem to faze them historically. And you mentioned, I mean, it's crazy what a season with Kyle Shanahan and a season with Kevin O'Connell has done for Sam Darnold. I know there were a lot of question marks whether or not he was for real last season, but I mean, the last 25 games or so, I think he's got 17 wins. Maybe it's 17-5 in the last 22, I think is his record. He is in the top 5 in a bevy of different categories right now among quarterbacks in the NFL. And, oh, by the way, Jackson Smith-Njigba, another wide receiver from Ohio State that is absolutely balling for that Seahawks team.
So you'll be doing the game this weekend for Sports USA. You're going to be working with Brandon Noble, who I know very well for the 1
What
year
a
that
guy.
he spent at Temple University, and I was a college student. I know that you're a professional broadcaster and you're Mr. Play-by-Play. Can I ask you to do one thing, like one of two? I'll give you two options, and maybe you could execute this.
Okay. Well, let's see what they are.
Yeah. I want you to take a video when you get into the press box and just say to Noble, hey, how about Penn State up against UCLA? Or maybe because it could be outdated because they play Northwestern and I think they would win. Or maybe just flick the ear of Brandon Noble and go, hey, that's from your buddy Zach Gelb. I think the flicking of the ear would be pretty good.
I can do both. You know, it's funny. We went to dinner on Saturday night last week in Baltimore after the Penn State loss to UCLA. And Brandon, you know, he does this podcast sometimes for Penn State. He's still very involved. He's one of the voices that people know and look to when things are going awry with the Nittany Lions. But there was just this sense of acceptance from Brandon Noble about his Penn State Nittany Lions after what happened at UCLA. Just acceptance seems to be the right word for it.
Yeah, I think that's with a lot of folks in Happy Valley because they know that James Franklin's not going to move this thing to the next level. All righty, let's get to the music. We'll get to some NFL picks right now with Josh Appel.
It's time for NFL picks on the Zach Gelb Show.
All righty, Josh Appel, we'll go game for game here. If we happen to pick the same game, so be it. That's all right. I'm not going to make you pick something that you don't want to pick. So I'll let you start off. What's your first game? Since you're the guest on our show, we'll let you go first. We'll actually be in a nice mood kind of today with some of the things that we've been seeing in sports in the last 24 to 48 hours. What do you got for me?
Full disclosure, I'm terrible at gambling. So take these picks with a
join
grain
the
of salt.
party.
Who's good at gambling? Yeah, right.
Join the party. Come on.
Exactly. By the way, there will be no Tua Tagovailoa over 1.5 rushing yards bet this week, as our good friend Mark Hockman likes to do. My first pick, it's a bit chalky, but I just had the Ravens against the Texans last weekend. I'm going with the Rams to cover 7.5 in Baltimore. I know that the Ravens are normally good at home as underdogs, but this just feels really different. They had last weekend, I think, like $700 million worth of contracts not playing. All of their Pro Bowlers, essentially, on defense were out. I'm not sure if any, if at all, maybe one or two are going to be back, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. I think the Rams are pissed after that Rams loss last week. Stafford leads the league in passing. That Ravens defense is a mess. Derrick Henry, 4 straight games under 50 yards. I imagine the Rams are going to do what Houston did last week. Load up the box. Hey, Cooper Rush, beat us. And I'm not certain he can. I've got the Rams to cover.
All righty, so Josh Appel taking the Rams laying 7.5 up against the Ravens. For my first game, this could be a trap. I fully admit it. But I always say I'm a sucker better, so I'll be a sucker here. My football team had a huge win last week. Not only covering the 7.5 points, getting 7.5 up against the Buffalo Bills, but winning the game outright. They go to New Orleans. New Orleans is coming off their first win of the season, so I'm happy that the Saints got that one out of the way because I don't think they're going to win that many more games after that. I know the Patriots have a ton of injuries on defense, but they got Drake May, and I'm a believer in Drake May right now. I know Spencer Rattler's not playing bad football, but I think the Saints, after winning one last week, they'll lose this one. I'll take the Pats laying 3.5. So give me the Patriots minus 3.5 for my first pick. We'll get Appel's second pick right now.
I'm staying chalky. I'm going Packers to cover the 14 against Joe Flacco and the Bengals. First of all, I dare Joe Flacco to beat the Packers twice in one season with 2 different teams. Dare him. I know the Packers are 0-1-1, which is weird to say about an NFL team in their last 2.
Yeah.
But I think this Green Bay defense, which gave up 40 to Dallas, has something to prove. I think they've still got a terrible taste in their mouth after being off and, blowing that Browns game. The Bengals are 1-4 against the spread this year. I think Joe Flacco might be able to get the ball to Chase and Higgins a bit better than maybe Jake Browning could, but I think this Packers defense has something to prove. I think they'll get pressure on Flacco. I know the receivers might be better for him with the Bengals, but just infrastructure-wise, like the Bengals defense, a lot worse than the Browns defense, and the Browns had a running game, which the Bengals just do not. I think the Packers have something to prove. They cover the 14.
Yeah, and I'm worried about the health of Joe Flacco because this offensive line is an absolute mess. I had the Bengals last week for Compass up against the Lions, and my, oh my, that offensive line is a joke. in Cincinnati. So
real bad.
Josh Appel's second pick, Packers laying 14 points. So I took the Pats laying 3.5 to start. The Patriots are a road team in New Orleans. I'm going to go with another road team that's also a 3.5-point favorite. The Panthers were down 17 last week to the Miami Dolphins. They came on back. Dallas, Dak Prescott's playing good football. I know their defense, I can't trust them, but I don't love Bryce Young, and I trust Dak Prescott significantly more than Bryce Young. So give me the Cowboys laying 3.5 points on the road in Charlotte, North Carolina for my second pick. And Josh Appel's third pick is?
I'm going to go with the Lions +3 against Kansas City. To me, the Lions are too good to be a team that's getting 3 points. I know in some places it's 2.5. I know they have a couple injury questions on defense. I would imagine a lot of the line movement here has to do with people being excited about Rashee Rice coming back and what that Chiefs offense has looked like the last couple weeks without him. But the Lions are 4-1 against the spread this week. Jared Goff 2-0 against Mahomes. This defense is creating turnovers. Their offense is averaging 40 points a game since they scored 13 against the Packers in week 1. I don't know if the Lions win outright. The Chiefs they're falling back to earth in these one-score games this year. They won them all last year. They've lost them all so far this year. But I think the Lions really have something cooking right now. Hopefully, Brian Branch is able to play. I think a couple other injury questions as well. But I like the Lions to keep it rolling against the Chiefs. Give me the points in Detroit.
I'm going to piggyback you on this one, and I'm going to say Aiden Hutchinson even gets an interception. That will be my bold prediction in this one. But I had 2.5. I'll take 3. If you're giving me an extra half point, that is more than fine. I will take the Lions +3, and I do think they're going to win the game outright, and Kansas City's going to fall to 2-4 on the season. So here are the picks for Week 6. I have the Lions +3, the Pats -3.5, the Cowboys -3.5. Josh Appel has the Rams laying 7.5, the Packers laying 14, and the Lions as well +3. You can listen to Sports USA's coverage of the National Football League this upcoming weekend. Josh Appel, Brandon Noble will be on the call. 1 p.m. Eastern time is kickoff between the Seattle Seahawks and the Jacksonville Jaguars in Duval. Josh Appel, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys having me.
There you go. Josh Appel joining us on the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. We'll take a break. We'll come on back. We will do a little onside, offside on a Friday. Update time first. Here's the Act Man, Rich Ackerman.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
Well, the Buccaneers have done a great job in winning 4 of their first 5 without some key players, and will host the 4-1 Niners and won't have Mike Evans again because of his injured hamstring. Chris Godwin and Bucky Irving are also out again. Terry McLaurin's quad will keep him out another week for the Commanders. And the Browns have Shedeur Sanders backing up Dylan Gabriel, making the official announcement that Sanders is the number 2. Kyler Murray is listed as questionable with a foot injury after missing a couple of days of practice, and the Chargers are down 2 tackles in Joe Alt and Trey Pipkins. The Blue Jays are waiting to learn their opponent for the ALCS. The Mariners will host the Tigers in Game 5 tonight. Detroit has rallied after a late season fade and is looking to advance. The Tigers send Tarek Skubal to the mound for the second time this series after a loss in Game 1, while the M's counter with George Kirby, who said he's going to empty the tank tonight.
This time of the year, you're all pitching with your best stuff. You're all, everything kind of just leads up to this moment. You got all your best stuff going out there and attacking, and I think everyone's going to do that.
College football tonight in the top 25. Unbeaten 5-0 North Texas hosts number 24 South Florida. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Hey, like us on Facebook. Our handle is INF Sportsnet. That's INF Sportsnet for our Facebook page. This is the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network.
This NBA preview is brought to you by eBay. eBay is home to millions of finds, and each one becomes part of your story. From your favorite vintage band tee to the dream car you've been searching for, it's all there. eBay, things people love. USA Basketball is expected to hire Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra as its new head coach, according to ESPN's Shams Charania. Spoelstra succeeds Steve Kerr for the 2027 World Cup and the 2028 Summer Olympics after serving as a lead assistant on Team USA's 2024 gold medal squad. Some somber news to pass along, by the way. This statement is from managing principal owner and vice chairman of the Washington Nationals, Mark Lerner. The Washington Nationals are deeply saddened by the passing of our friend and colleague Craig Heist, a longtime national radio broadcaster. Craig was a fixture in the press box, in the clubhouse, and on the field as our team celebrated wins. He was a friend to all who met him and will profoundly be missed. We will miss his kindness, enthusiasm, and passion for baseball. Our thoughts and prayers are with his loved ones at this difficult time. I read this right before we got on the air today. And, Craig Heist is a longtime reporter, did more than just the Nationals. He was a big fixture in that area. And for when I did Eye on Football and hosted Eye on Football for 3 years, he was our stringer for all Baltimore Ravens games. So I talked to, for 3 years, Craig Heist each and every football Sunday whenever there was a Ravens home game. What a nice man. What a professional, consummate professional, hardworking guy. Would always get us great guests after the game, would always give us a real concise and entertaining report. So definitely somber news. I have not spoken to Craig in quite some time just because I no longer do the show. But I know that he was doing reports for us this year and going back to last year as well. So I'm assuming, with not really knowing a lot with the situation, that this was unexpected. But obviously, either way, our thoughts and prayers are with his family, friends, loved ones, and obviously the countless amount of listeners that he had. So rest in peace, and our condolences to Craig's family and obviously everyone that knew him. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network on a Friday. We will do a little onside, offside right now.
Zach's taking on the most polarizing issues in sports. Which side of the line of scrimmage will he end up on?
Offside. Defense number 69.
It's Onsides, Offsides with Zach Gelb.
Alrighty, Stu, what do we got cooking?
All right, in last night's loss to the Giants, the Eagles, they showed off the tush-push a little more than most would have liked. In one sequence, down by the goal line, Philly ran the play 4 straight times, leading to a touchdown and prompting Micah Parsons to tweet, "This is not football," adding a trash emoji. Onsides, offsides, the tush-push will be done and away with after this year.
So I've been a tush-push supporter. Even I thought it was a lot last night. 4 straight plays. Hey, they could run it. It's legal. But you see those guards, they keep on jumping off sides, and I just don't know how you officiate it. I don't know how the officials don't see it. I know it's a big pile up, but they're going before the ball is snapped. I know there's a lot moving there, and it's a tough play to officiate. But I'll tell you, if I had $1 last night for every time someone in the press box said, the league doesn't want this, right? I feel like every traditional broadcaster, they had the same sayings. And that's why I don't view myself as a cheesy traditional broadcaster. Like, everyone just in the press box last night, the league doesn't want to see this. They don't want to see this. Oh, this is it. The tush-push is over. I think those people are right, though. They were 2 votes shy of getting it outlawed last year and abolished last year. I think they'll find those 2 votes this offseason. The tush-push will be done and away with after this year. I'm going onsides on that one. Question number 2.
All right. Yesterday, Raiders head coach Pete Carroll seemed to throw offensive coordinator Chip Kelly's play calling under the bus, indicating that the team needs to run the ball more. Well, Kelly responded and blamed the lack of running and the fact that they've been trailing so often.
Yeah, I mean, that's what our game plan is every game, unless you get into, we talked about it in the Chargers game. When you get in the second half, that skews. But, we had 25 attempts last week in the game. There was real balance in the first half of the football game when it was a close game. I think it gets out of hand. So when you look at some of the numbers, I think we had 25 rushing attempts and 36 passing attempts at the end of the day. But in the first half, it was really even.
Can he slow down when he speaks? Oh my God.
Onsides, offsides. You actually agree more with Kelly on this than Pete Carroll.
As to what?
As to the reason being that they are trailing in games, so that's why they're not running the ball enough.
So it's a fair point, but here's where I'm more Pete Carroll's side than Chip Kelly. When that game was in reach last week, when it wasn't 40-6, they were second and goal, I think it was, and Genti just had a nice run. They're down at the 3. Why didn't you hand the ball off to him? You got cute, and it didn't work. I'm with more Pete Carroll than Chip Kelly. I don't give Chip Kelly the benefit of the doubt, especially when it comes to him being in the NFL. What has he done in the NFL? Was a losing coach with the Eagles, was a losing coach with the 49ers for 1 year, and now he's a losing offensive coordinator. Pete Carroll at least has won a Super Bowl. Pete Carroll's going to the Hall of Fame. So I actually agree more with Kelly on this than Carroll. Offside.
Offside.
The 49ers and Buccaneers face off in a crucial NFC matchup that pits two 4-1 division leaders. Baker and the Bucs took out the Seahawks, while Mac Jones won his third game as a starter, beating out the Rams, and is expected to be under center as well. Onsides, offsides, you will consider the winner of this game the second best team in the NFC.
If it's the Bucs, yeah. I think right now the Lions are the best team in the NFC. The Eagles, I don't even think they're going to be in the top 5 for Take 5 Wednesday next week because they got some issues right now with their losses to the Broncos and the Giants. If the Buccaneers win, I think they're going to have to be viewed as the second best team in the NFC. If the Seahawks win, is that the case? I don't think so. Like the 49ers are 4-1. You look. Wait. Why'd you say 49ers to me? Here.
Because the 49ers face the Bucks.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
The Bucks beat the Seahawks.
Yes. Sorry. So when I look at this one, if the Niners win, you know what? Yeah, they'll be viewed as the second best team. They would be. Sorry about that. That's my mistake there. So you'll consider the winner of this game the second best team in the NFC? Yeah, onsides.
The 2-3 Chiefs go up against last year's number 1 seed in the NFC, the Lions, who have won 4 straight since losing their opener. The Chiefs dropped a heartbreaker last week to the Jags after it appeared they turned things around from that 0-3 start. Onsides, offsides, even if the Chiefs lose this game, you still pick them to win the AFC West.
No. So here's the thing with the Chiefs. Can the Chiefs win the AFC West? Yes. But if they're going to lose this game, they're going to be 2-4. Denver, I know our friend Anthony Gallo is going to London, and he's in London right now. It'd be very Gallo-like to go to London and see the Jets get their first victory. But I would assume that the Broncos should be able to beat the Jets. The Chargers, they got injuries. Alt hurt. Harris out. Now Amari and Hampton on IR. But I would still think the Chargers should beat the Dolphins to go to 4-2. So I can't sit there and confidently say if the Chargers and Broncos are both 4-2 after this weekend and the Chiefs are sitting there at 2-4, that the Chiefs are still going to win the AFC West. So even if the Chiefs lose this game, you'll still pick them to win the AFC West. I'm going offsides on that one.
Offside. The Ravens are in trouble, sitting at 1-4 with Lamar Jackson missing games with a hamstring injury. Lamar has not practiced all week, and with the team on a bye next week, he has officially been ruled out Sunday against the Rams. Onsides, offsides, if the Ravens lose this game to the Rams, they should shut Lamar down for the season and aim for a high draft pick.
No, so it's too early to do that. If he's healthy coming off the bye, you have to play him. I know he's not, like you said, he's playing this week. That's way too early to shut him down for the entirety of the season. If this was maybe week 15 or week 14, it's a different conversation, but not here right now as we go through week 6 and then we enter a week 7. I'm not going to sit here and say that right now. I think that's too early to have that conversation. You're paying him too much money. So if the Ravens lose this game, they should shut Lamar down for the season and aim for a high draft pick. I'm going offside.
Offside.
Despite having surgery, Oklahoma's John Mateer was upgraded to probable ahead of this weekend's Red River Showdown against Texas. Brent Venables entered the season with questions about his future, while the Longhorns, they dropped out of the poll after their loss to Florida last week. Onsides, offsides, this game is more important for Oklahoma than it is for Texas.
No, it's more important for Texas. Texas, if they still want to make the college football playoff, I know that's a tough conversation to have because we haven't even got into the meat of their schedule yet, and they already have 2 losses. Like, they still got to finish up with some SEC play, obviously, with Vanderbilt and Georgia and A&M at the end of the season. But their next loss is the official nail in the coffin for Texas, where if you look at Oklahoma, if they lose, it's their first loss of the season. Now, sure, Oklahoma down the stretch has South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU. That you want to win this game and give you as many opportunities as you have with no losses in the L column. But this is an elimination game for Texas. So this game is more important for Oklahoma than it is for Texas. I'm going offside.
Offside.
This weekend, number 7 Indiana travels to Eugene to take on the 3rd-ranked Oregon Ducks, with both quarterbacks vying for the Heisman. The Hoosiers' Fernando Mendoza has 16 touchdowns to just 1 interception, while the Ducks' Dante Moore, who currently leads the Heisman odds, has a similar line with 14 touchdowns and 1 interception. Onside offsides, Mendoza will have a better game than Moore.
I think Moore's going to win. Mendoza's going to have the better stat line. I think they're going to be heavy on the throw this week, and I think that Indiana needs Mendoza to play better to win this game. If you look at which quarterback needs to play better to win, I think Mendoza has to play better, where Oregon can find different ways to win, even if Moore isn't at his best. So Mendoza will have a better game than Moore. I don't think he's going to win, but I think statistically he'll have a better game, yes, on sides.
As Taylor Davis told us yesterday, it appears that Billy Napier has 9 lives after pulling off that upset over Texas last week. The Gators' insane stretch comes to an end after facing LSU, Miami, and the Horns the past 3 weeks before this week's battle with number 5, Texas A&M. Onside offsides, Billy Napier will save his job if he beats the Aggies this weekend.
That would get them to 3-3. It's an impressive win. With that being said, though, they still have to play Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Florida State. There's still a lot of chances to get some losses, so it would be encouraging, but I think they're already going to move on from Napier at the end of the year either way. I don't think there's really much he could do here, so Napier will save his job if he beats the Aggies this weekend. I'm going offsides.
Offside. All right, last one here. We get 2 Game 5s in the LDS with the Tigers and Mariners tonight in the AL and the Cubs Brewers tomorrow after Chicago extended the series last night. Seattle is at home, but faces the likely back-to-back Cy Young winner in Tarek Skubal, while neither the Cubs nor Brewers have announced their Game 5 starters yet. Onsides, offsides, both road teams, the Cubs and the Tigers, will win their Game 5s.
I think the Brewers are going to win. I want to see the Cubs win just so we can have a Bart Winkler meltdown. That would be fun. Tigers, I'm going with my heart here over my cabeza. I'm going to take them because of Scooby-Dooby-Doo. So I'm going to say that the Brewers win and then the Tigers win. So you asked me both road teams, the Cubs and the Tigers will win their respective games. I am going offside.
Offsides.
All right, it is Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Hour number 3 of our radio program is going to get started in 5 minutes. Phil Simms, the former Giants quarterback, is going to join us at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And then Giants' current offensive lineman, Jermaine Eluemunor, is going to join us at 5:20 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll throw around the football with Phil Simms. We'll be coming back in 5 minutes. You're listening to the Zach Gelb Show across all great local Infinity Sports Network affiliates, Sirius XM Channel 375, the 3 Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and also streaming live on YouTube at Zach Gelb, Twitter and Instagram, as well you can find us at TikTok at the Zach Gelb Show. You can always give me a call, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. The great Phil Simms. Next!
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To infinity and beyond. He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
Alrighty, hour number 3 of our radio program. That's right, it is the Zach Gelb Show, coast to coast on the Infinity Sports Network. I was at the game last night at MetLife Stadium. How about the Giants just opening up a can of whoop ass on the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles? Jaxson Dart, Cam Scattaboo. They made the Eagles quit last night. Philadelphia may have some problems. Losers of their last 2 games, and the Giants now have some new life after beating the Chargers a few weeks ago, sandwiched in between a bad loss to the Saints. But what a bounce-back performance up against the Eagles last night. We'll get into that and some other Week 6 storylines right now with former Giants quarterback, Super Bowl MVP, the great Phil Simms. Phil, appreciate the time. How you been?
I've been well, Zach. I was at the game last night, too. I'm exhausted. I got a sore throat. I got it all because it was a lot of fun, very exciting. Wow. You know, it was great to hear the crowd really into it. And we know this, between Scattaboo and Jaxson Dart, oh my gosh, every time they touched the ball, the crowd would go wild. So a lot of fun, and they caught the Eagles. I would say this to the Giants. Get ready. In 2 weeks, when you go down there to beat them, it's going to be rough because they're going to be mad still about the game last night. That's for sure.
Dart has a moxie to him, a confidence, a swagger. Third down, he was automatic last night. He turns garbage into gold even when it doesn't look like there's a play there with his legs. What are you seeing right now out of the young Giants quarterback?
Well, I see this, a guy that can run well, and he runs straight ahead. Very few times when you look at all of his runs are they outside. It's always He's looking for the pass. If it's not there, if he sees a gap, he takes it like a running back. It's an open space, and boom, he goes. But I think the other thing that's getting lost in this is his throwing. When somebody's open, he's not missing them. And he throws into what I call a lot of tight windows, but he puts it exactly where you have to so the defender can't intercept it or knock it down or whatever. I guess the thing to say about Jaxson Dart, he's hot as hell right now. That's it for sure.
Now, 100%. And, this is an organization, there's not been a lot to cheer about for the last half decade. And in the post game last night, usually don't hear some younger players maybe sound as confident that early in their career. But Cam Scadaboo and Jaxson Dart, they've taken this thing head on where they're saying, hey, we haven't been a part of this thing the last 4 or 5 years. We know what it's like to win some football games. And to see the leadership from these two youngsters and the role they've taken on vocally this early on in their career, it's damn impressive.
Well, it is. They're not quite bloodied up yet. Let's put it that way. Sometimes you got to get it handed to you to toughen up and to be a better player. They got cut a little bit down there in New Orleans, but it didn't shake their confidence. And, I was there with a big group of people, and I said after the opening drive, I said he started 3 games, and every game he's taken them down for a touchdown on the opening drive. I mean, man, sometimes you can go a whole year and not do that. So the rhythm, the belief, the talent of some of these young players, it's the reason why the Giants, I know, they're 2-4, but let's just react to what we've been reacting to. So this is a good thing. And now it makes me think about this. You lost the Cowboys in overtime, and New Orleans, I don't know what to say. It just wasn't your day. But if they play New Orleans 10 times, they're going to beat them 7 or 8 for sure.
What do you think this identity of the team is right now? Forget about the record, because Dart didn't start every game because they went with Russ for the first few weeks of the season. With Dart leading this team, what do you think the identity is of the New York Giants right now?
Oh, I think it's confidence, freedom, and belief, especially on the offensive side. I do believe the defense has been hurt a little bit by the secondary, so they got to try to protect it. Injuries, everything that happens with pro football. But the identity is, I think everybody can see it now. They're freewheeling, they're aggressive, and they're finally, back in Mac Jones or the good year they went to the playoffs. That's kind of what we felt, and we haven't felt it since then. And you definitely can see it now. Brian Daboll's energy is apparent even on the sidelines, orchestrating the game. So, man, to put a damper on it is just this. They got Denver next, and then they go to Philly. I mean, can the Giants just get a break and play like a high school team or something? They got to keep playing all these powerhouses in the NFL. But
They actually played better against the powerhouses. They lose to the Saints, but they beat the Chargers and they beat the Eagles. Maybe you keep the good teams up against them, Phil.
They got 2 quality wins, that's for sure. So if we were in college football, it helped their ranking. But, we're not. But, yeah, it's exciting. I can't, when they play next week against Denver, I'll be sitting here at home and just going, are they going to get off to another good start and make this game where it's going to have to go all 60 minutes for Denver to try to beat them? We'll see. But I'm starting to turn into a believer about Jaxson Dart for sure, and Cam Scadaboo too, of course.
Yeah, were you a little skeptical on Dart coming out of college?
No, I thought they got the right guy in the draft. I'm not going to say I was all over it from the very start, because I do all the quarterbacks and look at them, quite often. And I think it was about a week before the draft. I said, let me just look again. And I looked through about maybe 8 or 10 quarterbacks. And as I was watching Jaxson Dart, I went, I underestimated his running ability. Mm-hmm. And you know what it was? I'm trying to think who they were playing. I think they lost the game. But the runs were exactly what we're seeing in pro football. He looked, he didn't like it. He took off, went up the middle, gave a little move, picked up 10, picked up 12. And all of a sudden, that's when it really hit me. And, and I had people telling me, no, his running is pretty good. I go, well, I don't really see it. that way when I watched him play down at Ole Miss, but I saw it late and I see it now. That's for sure.
Yeah, and you see like a little twinkle in the eye of Brian Daboll when he's watching, Jaxson Dart play. I know he was with Josh Allen. I'm not comparing Jaxson Dart to Josh Allen. Obviously, you can make a case Allen's the best quarterback in football, but I feel like Brian Daboll starting to say to himself, here we go again with the way that he's just looking at Jaxson Dart as of late.
Oh, he's looking at him like, that's my son. I mean, come on. I'm really being serious because I think Brian Daboll from the start always wanted Jaxson Dart as his quarterback. And, these guys and these coaches like him, they get to go visit these kids and be around them enough where you really get a great feel of who they are. And they worked him out at least once or twice. They saw his pro day. He's in the combine. He's done everything, and they were there always watching him. So sooner or later, his personality is going to come out towards you. And whatever it is, like, hey, coach, and whatever. It's apparent, though, that these two have a great connection. And Brian Daboll is so excited about him and his play. I mean, come on. All the years I played for Bill Parcells, I never came to the sideline and got a kiss on the helmet and a hug and,
Parcells should have been nicer to you. He should have puckered up once or twice.
No, I like him the way he was. I like everybody when they're angry. So, but yeah, it's really cool to see, and I'm not going to overdo it, but I'm just anxious to see where this goes. And
yeah, you're excited. You should be. This team has been miserable to watch for a while. You actually have a reason to tune in and not think each and every week they're going to lose by like 30 points. So it's fun.
Yeah. I think the other thing is going to the game, had great seats in the mezzanine, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. One, the energy, I was happy. I'm a Giant fan. I'm hoping for the team. But also, when you're at the right spot, you can see everything. So, man, I saw the open receivers even before Jaxson Dart did. So, but it was a lot of fun sitting there and talking to everybody, that's for sure.
Phil Simms here with us. On the flip side, I know the Eagles just won a Super Bowl, but they lost their last two. A.J. Brown is clearly not happy right now. They had the meeting. They didn't have the meeting. Who knows at this rate with Jalen Hurts. It just seems like these two just don't get along in Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown.
Well, wide receivers, I mean, I never had to deal with it because it wouldn't have been tolerated with the team I was on. Nobody complained like that because they just, you might lose your starting job if you did it. I really look at it this way. These players-only meetings, I'm not a big fan of. Thank God I never had to deal with it under Bill Parcells because he took care of everything. We weren't going to have a players meeting on the side to talk about, I mean, come on, there's just no way. But Nick Sirianni needs to hold that meeting and lay the law down. You're the head coach. So sometimes I just don't quite understand it, but you know what? He's been to 2 Super Bowls over the last 3 years. So he knows enough to be able to get that team through seasons, playoffs, and, of course, last year he wins the Super Bowl. So, I know he has a little different idea on how to be a head coach, and he knows, of course, a lot more than me in doing that. But it's okay. Get in there, and you're the man. You're ruling the football team, and tell them all to be quiet and let's just play. So if you let them talk, then be alert because another group's going to start talking too.
Phil Simms here with us. Let's get to the Browns. Shedeur Sanders, right, is now quarterback too. Dillon Gabriel played well last week. You look at that whole situation between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur. It's an interesting one, Phil.
Oh, I'm so relieved he's the backup now. Oh, my God. I thought they were going to send him off somewhere. People talk about it. How could he be this? I'm not knocking on Shedeur. I'm just knocking on the people who talk about it. I mean, come on. Listen, and Dillon Gabriel, he didn't play okay last week. He played really well. Really well. He protected the football. He's accurate as hell.
Against a good defense, too.
Yeah, against a good defense. But, he has power to throw it. He's a good decision maker. And, the situation he is in, because of what's going on behind the scenes and all through everybody and every show, oh, we're so excited he's the backup now. But what a tough situation for Dillon Gabriel to be in. He knows one interception. It's probably about all it would take.
Yeah, you're right.
And then the roar's coming. And so I don't know if he can block that out or if it makes him play more careful or hell, he's careful already, but I mean to stay that way or to do the other thing, really be aggressive and make big plays or whatever, or try more of those, maybe even when they're not there. It's really a tough situation, I think, for Dylan Gabriel and for Shedeur Sanders. Everybody relax. Sooner or later, he's going to get the play. You know why? Because Cleveland's not very good. All right, so if they lose this week, which I expect them to, Dylan Gabriel's 0-2. He threw 4 touchdowns, but we still lost. Oh, yeah, but we got to get somebody who can win. I mean, come on, Zach, it's a losing proposition no matter how you look at it in that situation.
Talking to Phil Simms, let's get to the Colts. You got to feel good for Daniel Jones. Right now, you can make the case he's the MVP of the NFL, which who would have ever thought we'd be saying that, 5-6 weeks into the season?
Well, the talent's still there. He's not moving around like he did with the Giants. He doesn't have to because the plan is good. What they're teaching, it gives the quarterback a chance to make the right reads. He's been very accurate throwing the football, and he's playing really well. And wide receiving group, it's kind of a group of no names in a way, but they got a good group there. The tight end, Tyler Warren from Penn State. Oh, my gosh, yes, he's really good. He's got a really big-time running back and also the offensive line. When you got that kind of talent, the running back and the scheme right, the offensive line doesn't have to be great. They just got to be okay or maybe good because the scheme is going to get the guys open right on time. You won't have to hold the football. That's what I see when I watch him. I think Daniel Jones the numbers don't lie. He's played very well, doing a great job with the football, very accurate throwing. And of course, they really should be undefeated, Zach.
Yeah.
Well, the game they lost was a joke.
Yeah, to the Rams with Adonai Mitchell. I could also argue, though, maybe that kind of evens out because the Denver game, they won off that whole leverage penalty and stuff like that. But no, if you want to tell me the Colts are going to be undefeated, I can't call you crazy for that.
No, don't be so. That's good. I think about that one, too. You need some breaks along the way, especially when you're looking at trying to have these really great records. There's going to be a game or two where you win, where you go, man, we were a little lucky there to get that one. But that's what happens in the NFL.
Last thing I'll ask you. I know you're doing some college games for NBC. We know where your son went to school. Arch Manning plays in Red River this weekend. It hasn't gone well for him. I actually think Texas is going to beat Oklahoma this weekend. I just feel it that Arch finally has his moment. It hasn't been going well for Arch so far at Texas, but what kind of advice would you give him? What do you think he's going to continue to be?
Well, I think the game, what I'm really interested, I'm going to watch it, of course, tomorrow. But John Mateer is going to play for Oklahoma, it looks like. Man, you had thumb surgery, I don't know 3 weeks ago, something like that, and you're back on the field. That's amazing. But for Arch Manning, I've watched all of his games so far this year, and it's easy for me to say, just kind of relax a little bit, and just the throwing of the ball. His throwing has not been what we expect. Forget the decision makings and everything like that. The physical throwing, get in the rhythm and have that. Because that's what it's all about. When you are throwing the ball and you control it the way you want, you're going to be extremely accurate. That means those small windows look wide open to you. You see it, you believe it, you throw it, it's complete, and we move on. And I think he needs more of that when I see him. The throwing motion looks a little hurried up at sometimes when it doesn't have to be. So we'll see where it goes. But this will be a good game. Neither one of these teams is what I call big-time championship, maybe win or that kind of thing. Oklahoma, I've only seen them play twice, so I'm looking forward to seeing them tomorrow against Texas.
He's the great Phil Simms. Phil, appreciate the time. Thanks so much for doing this. We'll do it again soon.
All right, Zach. Good having me on. Thank you, bud. Good luck to you.
You got it. Thanks so much. There he is, Phil Simms. Always enjoy his insight whenever he does join us on the show. We'll take a break. We'll go from Phil Simms to Jermaine Eluemunor, who was a part of the victory last night for the Giants up against the Eagles when we come on back in 5 minutes.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the Zach Gelb Show.
All right, it was a late night for me last night. Was at the game between the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles, and what a performance that was by the Giants, just thumping the Eagles to kick off Week 6 of the NFL season. Jermaine Eluemunor does a great job on that Giants offensive line. He was a part of the action last night, and that was a fun environment being in that crowd at MetLife Stadium, and Jermaine's kind enough to join us right now. Jermaine, first off, congratulations. What a performance last night. Thanks for doing this. How are you?
Sure, but I mean, when you win games like that, the soreness kind of handles itself. So, that it was a hell of a game to be a part of, and I'm glad that I was able to do my part to help the team win.
But what is today like for you? You guys get the win. You say you're sore. What do you do in the immediate recovery after a big win like that?
Well, for me, the recovery is kind of on the weekend at night because, I'm on dad duty right now. So, I have two little girls running around the house. One of them running around the house, loves to be chased. And second one is only 2 months old. So my recovery is just being a dad, getting to hang out with them and just kind of put my feet up a little bit. But other than that, I have a couple of people that are going to fly into work on me to get my body right for Denver next Sunday.
Yeah, is there a victory meal with the girls? You guys have like a little victory ice cream party or something like that? You guys celebrate that way?
Not yet, but you make a really valid point that eventually when they get old enough, hopefully I'm still playing. That's one of my goals, to play till they know what's going on. So, which will probably be hopefully another 5-6 years, God willing. But yeah, one of my ex-teammates, Eric Weddle, every time we would win games, he would do the ice cream thing in Baltimore. So it's funny you say that.
Yeah, he actually called me once, and we had
Really?
an interview with him. And the interview was while he was shopping after the game to get the supplies to go back to his kids and throw the ice cream parties. That's the first thing I thought of.
I think his big thing was Dippin' Dots there. That's what he loved.
Okay. Yeah, he's big on the
I think that was
toppings.
his thing. Mm-hmm.
So Jermaine Eluemunor here with us talking some ice cream, some football after a big Giants victory. Let me start you off because everyone today is going to want to talk to you about your quarterback and your running back, and I get it. But how about the offensive line? Man, I've been in New York now for a long time. Last 5, the line stinks. The line stinks. You guys played a heck of a game last night up against the Eagles.
Yeah, I think it's just a combination of the work that we put in throughout the week and the work we've been putting in, since we got back in April, and getting AT back, who's, in my opinion, if not the best left tackle in the league when healthy, is a tremendous boost for us also. But individually, we're all great players, AT, Runyon, Schmidt, who's, really stepping up this year and, doing his thing, which is cool to see. GV, me, I believe I'm one of the best in my position, too. I prove that week in and week out. But, there's no reason why this O-line can't be a dominant offensive line, and I think people are starting to see that now. And we're starting to play a brand of football, which offensive linemen love, downhill, tough, physical, get in your face, hit you in the face, throw it over the top with Dart. Let Dart just be the magic man back there. And, it's a fun time to be a part of the organization and be an offensive lineman here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. These last 2 victories, the Chargers and then beating the Eagles, it's fun. It's new life. It's some energy. Giants fans are smiling again. And a lot of it has to do with the energy that your quarterback has brought in. You either have a quarterback in this league or you don't. You being a veteran player in this league, what are you seeing out of your youngster right now at the quarterback position? Because he's really taken over not only the franchise, but right now this entire city when it comes to football.
Yeah, he has zero fear. Zero fear. There was a play yesterday. I'm sure you've already seen it because it probably went viral. It was 3rd and maybe 7 or 8, and he dove to get the first down, and he went head first. Obviously he didn't mean to launch himself, but that's just goes to show how committed he is to winning and how bad he wants to win. That he's willing to just dive forward to get the first down to, continue the drive. And that just shows his determination, the swagger he plays with. And like I said, the fear that he does not play with. He has zero fear, goes out there, acts like a 10-year vet. And, the offense is his, the team is his. And, like I said, the offensive line, we feed off his energy and having him in the huddle, the composure he carries himself with, and just the swagger he plays with. Him and Scat have been huge for this little turnaround that we have. But, we knew what was going to happen once he got in the huddle, and that's no offense to anyone. Dart just has a different aura about him that you knew once his time came, he was going to just take off, and I think that's what everyone's saying.
And then how about on 3rd down? for a youngster to get in that quickly, a rookie in his third NFL start, and just be automatic on third down, those are the crucial plays. That's the difference between winning and losing games.
100%. I think that just goes back to the kid has no fear at all, but he's also really smart. He's really intelligent. He studies his playbook inside and out. He watches a crap ton of film, and the way he gets himself ready for Thursday, Sundays, it's really cool to see a young guy taking that step and really preparing himself to go out there and take advantage of the opportunities that he's getting. And, he's maximized everything that he possibly could and more. And like I've been saying it all day. I've been saying this since I see him in OTA. The sky's the limit for him. And there's no reason why he can't be a humongous star in this league.
Jermaine Eluemunor here with us from the New York Football Giants. What a win last night up against the Philadelphia Eagles to kick off Week 6 of the NFL season. I can't curse on this radio show because we're on the radio, and I mean this in the best way possible, and I love Cam Scatterbo going back to Arizona State, and I mean this in a positive way. He's one sick mofo. That guy, you guys just got to be so fired up with having that dude on your football team.
Oh, 100%. The energy he brings, I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, I don't know how to describe him. It's just that's the type of guy you want behind you as offensive lineman running that ball. With no fear, just like Dart, gonna get every single yard that he possibly can and more, and he's gonna fight for every single inch. And with a guy like that, that all you have to do is make a slight, he'll make you better as offensive lineman, but he'll also make you right. And, he's a hell of a running back. I'm glad he's on my team too.
What do you think the identity is of this team right now? With what you've been able to accomplish the last few weeks, what are the identity that the New York Giants have kind of been building over the last few weeks?
I say a tough, gritty, determined team whose record doesn't show just how good they are, but I think in the end it will. I think that, the more confidence we start playing with, the more swagger we start playing with, and the more grit we start playing with, which everyone's seeing, that, it's only going to get better and better. And, we have a tough schedule, obviously, with the teams coming up. But, with 6, with 44, with the offense we have, with the O-line, with the young guys we have stepping up, and the defense we have, there's no reason why we can't be in every single game and be competitive and win. So, no, that's the expectation.
And then being in the locker room last night after the game and talking to Jaxson at least, and then seeing what Cam had to say, it's rare to have rookies with this much confidence and not only be able to talk big, but then back it up on the field. And you're seeing that right now with both of those guys, that they got a certain confidence in them. It takes special people to turn this organization around. And it seems like those are two great pieces to really lead this organization into this next chapter.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it all starts with the quarterback. It doesn't matter who you have, a tackle, guard, center, receiver, tight end, D-line, corner, safety. It doesn't matter. It all starts with the quarterback. And, I think that we're seeing just how great Dart is, and he's only going to keep getting better and better. And like I said, I'm glad that I finally get to block for him and just be a part of that.
Last night, the toughness is what really stood out to me. And you guys were wearing down the Eagles. And I was just watching it, and I hate to say that a team quit, but it's almost as if you made them tap out. Did you kind of feel that in the game last night as you guys were in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think that games like that is being a part of those type of games in the past. It's all about just how determined you are, and I feel like we were the more determined team yesterday to really go out there and get the win. I think we were way more hungry than them, but also in that fourth quarter, going on that 7-minute drive to close the game out, that was probably one of the coolest parts of my career so far, because every offensive lineman just dreams of going like a 4-minute drive to win a game like that. And, to be able to take a knee after being out there for 7+ minutes was dope as hell. But I think that the physicality that we're playing with now, the physicality that Scat's playing with, that Dart's playing with, is really starting to mesh and energize this team. And you can see it on the D-line too, on defense in general, on special teams. Like, everything's starting to click for us, and it's really cool to see. And it's just like how our Coach Dave said, we're getting into the, it's just say it's like a 400-meter sprint. We're done. We just got done with the 100. We're on another 100 straight right now. There's 2 more hundreds to go, which is the middle part of the season, then the ending part of the season. And I think that if we just keep doing what we're doing right now, we'll end up where we want to be by the end of the season.
I know right now, Jermaine Eluemunor, you're an American Cancer Society ambassador this season. You're proudly supporting the fight against cancer, and you're gearing up for the annual holiday giving event with the Tom Coughlin Fund supporting children battling cancer. We know what your owner, unfortunately, is going through. We saw him in the locker room last night, John Mara, getting the game ball. Just what did that mean to you to be able to give John Mara a moment like that last night and just see that moment in the locker room unfold?
Yeah, no one wants to win as bad as he does. And, he's such a huge part of this franchise and this organization. To be able to go out there and get the win for him and knowing how much it meant to him was amazing. And to see the smile on his face after the game, it meant a lot to everyone in that locker room. And, we go out there every single week trying to put a product on the field that he can be proud of. But hopefully we continue to do that.
Last thing I'll ask you, I know that you played in New England for a little bit under Bill Belichick. Is that bizarre to you right now, seeing Bill Belichick on a college sideline at UNC?
Yeah, I never thought I would see that. But, hey, we're a crazy place.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Once again, Jermaine Eluemunor, part of the Giants. He's American Cancer Society ambassador this season, proudly supporting the fight against cancer, and he's gearing up for his annual holiday giving event with the Tom Coughlin J Fund supporting children battling cancer. Jermaine, enjoy it. That was a heck of a win last night. Appreciate you doing this.
Appreciate it.
There you go. Jermaine Eluemunor joining us on the Zach Gelb Show right here on the Infinity Sports Network. We will take a timeout. When we come on back, we're going to continue this rookie party. We're going to get into some of the best rookies in the NFL. We'll go around the room on that. Update time first. By the way, you look like you could be coaching UNC today in this UNC hoodie.
You know what? I stand as good a chance as what the legend has done.
Yeah, you are potentially taking over. You're in the hoodie. You may wear the hoodie better than him.
Yeah, I love the guy, but boy, that's become a mess very quickly, hasn't it?
Maybe Jordan Hudson will enter the transfer portal and maybe be hanging out with Ack tonight on a Friday. It could be a possibility. Yeah, Jermaine Eluemunor, by the way, wanted no part of that Belichick push at the end.
Smart guy.
We had a very good conversation going, and it was like, yep, okay, let's wrap this one up. All righty, we'll come on back. We'll do some rookie talk when we return. Update time. Here's the Ack Man, Rich Ackerman.
Infinity Sports Network. Sports Flash.
And it's sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with their easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. The Bucs are one of the top teams in the NFC thus far at 4-1, and will host another conference contender in the 4-1 49ers, who will also be down a big man. Tampa, once again, without several key offensive players. Mike Evans and Bucky Irving are again out, as well as Chris Godwin, while Brock Purdy's injured toe sidelines him again. The presumptive starter, Mac Jones, is questionable with knee and oblique injuries. The Ravens have a big uphill climb to get back into contention, and it continues this week without quarterback Lamar Jackson, who's out once again with a hamstring injury as they take on the Rams. The Raiders have ruled out Brock Bowers with a knee injury. The Chargers, Joe Alt will sit out with an ankle injury, and Trey Pipkins is out as well, while Terry McLaurin's quad will keep him off the field this week. And the Browns officially named Shedeur Sanders their backup quarterback. ALDS tonight, Game 5 between the Tigers and Mariners in Seattle. The winner moves on to the ALCS to face the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Hey, like us on Facebook. Our handle is INF Sportsnet. That's INF Sportsnet for our Facebook page. This is the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Hey, this is Howie. And this is Nick. From the Backstreet Boys. And you're listening to the Zach Gelb Show. And guess what? Zach is back. All right.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show.
This MLS game preview is sponsored by Lowe's. Upgrade your laundry routine with the new reliable and powerful Maytag laundry pair at Lowe's. Shop in store or online today. Lionel Messi is away with the Argentinian national team during international break, but Inter Miami is still in action this weekend, taking on Atlanta United on Saturday. Inter Miami currently stands in third place in the Eastern Conference with 59 points with just 2 matches left before the playoffs. Also, we got to get to our ATP for today, and it's time to answer our Ask the Pros question of the day, and it's brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Andre from Fort Lauderdale says, Zach, who has been the best rookie in the NFL through the first 5 weeks of the season? You could submit a question by tweeting at INF Sportsnet or at Zach Gelb using the hashtag #AskThePros. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts. I think it's Emeka Egbuka, and that's where we'll start this segment right here. He has 25 receptions so far in his young career at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is 4th in the league in receiving yards with 445, and he's tied for 2nd in receiving touchdowns with 5 receiving touchdowns. Emeka Egbuka, to me, is the best rookie in the NFL right now. Let's go around the room. We'll skip around the room here. This is in honor of Jaxson Dart's performance last night. So he will be off the table here, so you can't say Jaxson Dart. Let's go around. We'll give 2 picks each. I just gave you Emeka Egbuka, or however Gronk said it. I don't know how he said it. I said it correctly, Emeka Egbuka. Gronk was nowhere even close to that. But Stu, who's a rookie that's been impressing you?
All right, mine's a little off the board. My first one, Gray Zabel, the Seahawks guard, the left guard. He was the 18th overall pick in the draft.
Answer. This is a Zach Gelb Show football answer. Great job, Stu.
He has only allowed 1% pressure so far, which is very low, one of the best in the league. He has not allowed a sack or committed a penalty and didn't allow a single pressure, a QB pressure, until week 4. And he has an 85% run block rate, which is the best among all interior linemen, not just rookies, all interior linemen in the NFL. He's been great so far.
Wow. You had a weird reflection right there.
Ooh.
I don't know what it was for a second, because it was the way that you were sitting and there's a glare with the glass that's in front of me and you're wearing a white shirt. You're not holding your hand up in the air right now, right?
I'm not, no.
It looked like you were holding your hand up in the air. And I go, does Stu have an index card on him? I'm not kidding. I'm not loopy. I did no drugs or anything like that. But that's what I could have sworn I saw. And then I was like squinting and I go, oh, no, that's just the color of Stu's shirt. So that's what I thought. I go, what is Steve? Who was the referee? Gene Steratore didn't have the index card that one time?
The Raiders, yes. Their car, yes.
Was that a Monday Night Football?
I think it was Sunday night.
Okay, Sunday Night Football. I thought you had an index card out there.
No
I don't remember the last
cards.
time I've seen an index card. By the way, going back to my pick of Emeka Egbuka, you do have the Bucs of the 49ers this weekend. We got some official injury updates. Adam Schefter, Brock Purdy, Ricky Pearsall are out. So Mac Jones is going to be starting once again, and he's not even 100%. And then also, just to reiterate, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and Bucky Irving are all out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it's like you have a heavyweight showdown, but do you really have a heavyweight showdown between these two teams with all the players that are missing in this one? All righty, Santa, who's your first rookie that you're going to highlight? I have an idea. I got a feeling. Ooh, that's a bad singing right there. But I think I know what Santa's going to go. Go ahead.
Well, I'm glad that you only disqualified Jaxson Dart from this conversation, because we got to go with the best rookie in the NFL. Let's go. Forks up, Sun Devils, Cam Scatterboo. Yeah. That's what Scatterboo does whenever he scores a touchdown. He is absolutely nuts.
Now hold on. Did you see after the game, Cam Scatterboo and Ryan Fitzpatrick? Did you see this on Amazon Prime Video?
I did not.
You have no clue.
No idea.
So do you know Ryan Fitzpatrick?
I've heard of him before, yes.
He rips his shirt off on these Amazon Prime videos.
Yep.
So he said after what happened in Buffalo, he's no longer going to do it. I think he said he was only going to do it for Buffalo. And then Jaxson Dart said, what happens if Cam does it? He goes, absolutely. So Cam Scatterboo ripped his shirt off, and so did Ryan Fitzpatrick. So since you are imitating Cam Scatterboo, would you be willing to rip your shirt off right now and go all Cam Scatterboo on us? Your microphone's
Let's go!
Oh, wow. Yeah, actually, you have an undershirt. Whoa.
No.
No. Oh, he did it.
Let's go!
Ryan Fitzpatrick, Cam Scatterboo, and a soft center. That is a Furby.
Forks up, baby.
I didn't actually think he would do it. Oh, my God.
That'll be good for the TikTok channel.
Yeah. We'll get some more women tuning into our TikTok.
Tuning out.
Yeah, probably. They're going to report that for violating rules. Santa is now putting back on his shirt. Oh, my God. This is incredible. Where the heck is he go? Oh, he threw his shirt that far. I go, where the heck is he going?
I was getting worried. I was like, why is he approaching me right now?
Yeah, he was about to give you a nice little man hug right there, Stu. Oh, my God. I'm not going to lie. This has been some week. This really has been some week. From Greg in Michigan calling Chris Cuomo about Shep and Bart and then talking about domestic terrorism. Yeah, that was a phone call that was made to Chris Cuomo's show. Then to Sean Marash crying after a Giants win up against the Eagles. Do me a favor one more time. Manny Rodriguez, please, after getting wisdom teeth surgery, doing this little hype-up video about the Giants.
Your boy just got his wisdom teeth removed. I can't feel my lips. I can't feel my tongue. I can't feel my mouth. But you know what I can feel? A Giants victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's go Giants. Let's go Giants. Let's go Giants. Let's go Giants.
My wisdom teeth just got pulled. Let's
go
go
Giants.
Giants. I can't feel my tongue. But Spike Gaskin, shove it up your you-know-what.
Let's go Giants.
Shove it up your ass. You skinny former boss of mine. All right? Kem Scatterboo. Just whip your ass. How about your pitcher? Oh, my God. And then Samter ripping off his... I'm stunned. I didn't think you were going to do that, Samter. I really didn't.
When you said think, you mean hoped. You hoped I would not do that.
You know what? I did. You got it. I'm going to be thinking about that all weekend. There's no doubt about that.
Sorry. Oh, man.
So your pick was Cam Scatterboo?
After all that, yes. It was Cam frickin' Scatterboo.
I couldn't tell. You know what? I actually, I'm not allowing Cam Scatterboo. We reject him. Anyway, my next one's going to be Tyler Warren. I guess I haven't bashed Ben Johnson in a while. So this gives me the outlet to bash Ben Johnson, who I'm not a big fan of. How this guy, Mr. Smartest Guy in the room, didn't draft Tyler Warren and went Colston Loveland. And I'm a huge Michigan fan. I always thought Colston Loveland was a tad overrated at Michigan. Tyler Warren was one of the best players in all of college football last year. I think he was going to be a top 5 player. I said this before the draft, from this draft class. And so far, he has 307 receiving yards. That's 20th in the league. This guy's just a football player. You can design him up in so many different ways. You saw him run the football a few times at Penn State. He does have a rushing touchdown this year with the Indianapolis Colts as well. This dude's just a playmaker. This dude's a stud. And you put him on an offense with Jonathan Taylor, also Michael Pittman Jr. This is just a player that is a difference maker with Daniel Jones being the quarterback. So I'm going to go Tyler Warren for my next rookie. So Gray Zabel was Stu's first rookie. Who is Stu's second rookie?
My second one, I have to go with Xavier Watts, the Falcons safety out of Notre Dame. They got him in the third round, and he has been great so far. 2 interceptions. He actually probably could have like 3 or 4. He's had a couple dropped interceptions as well. He won the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Month for September, and only 4 players have more interceptions, and they are, of course, all non-rookies, all veterans.
And he was unbelievable last year. And I remember bringing this up to him, and this is when I knew the guy was a dog. Like, I knew he was a good player, very good player. There's a reason why he won the Nagurski Award. There's a reason why he was unanimous All-American back in 2023. But he wasn't a finalist for the Nagurski last year, which made no sense to me. After he won the award in 2023, and he was just as good, if not better, in 2024. And when I brought up that question, he gave the right answer, right? Like, oh, it doesn't get underneath my skin, all that stuff. It doesn't bother. I'm all about the team, blah, 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 blah. But there was a smirk. When I brought it up, he gave a smirk. And that smirk was basically saying, it's a great point. It motivates me. I'm not going to give you the answer that you want, but my smirk is going to tell you the entirety of the answer, how I really feel, regardless of the words that were coming out of my mouth. I'm a big fan of Xavier Watts, and he's off to a good start. Heck, the Falcons, they have a lot of good rookies. I've been very critical of Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris, they've done a very good job with this draft class and what they're able to do just from this past year. When you take a look at Xavier Watts, you made the big trade for Pierce Jr. You also have Jalen Walker, too. They had a pretty damn good draft class this past year on the early returns. All righty, Samter. Who is your next player? Are you taking your shirt off again? Is there something that comes with this next pick?
No, okay. not this one. Although this guy does play in the dog pound, so
you know
when
what?
I take my shirt off, I do look like a dog.
You got to pay for that. If you want to see more of Samter, you got to go to his OnlyFans. All right?
No, if you go to my OnlyFans, you're seeing feet, hairy hobbit feet.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know
There's
if
a whole
that's
thing
going to
for
make any
Frodo
money.
feet. Yeah, let's go.
I don't think you're the target audience wants to see with those feet.
I'm just telling you, man, the hobbits. People like it.
Rex Ryan will be the only one purchasing your OnlyFans.
I'm going to go Carson Schlesinger, the second-round pick, the first pick of the second round.
Great hair.
From the Browns. He has 2 games of his last 3 games over 10 tackles. He's the second high. I know you don't love PFF, but he's the second highest-rated rookie linebacker behind Jahad Campbell of the Eagles.
Yeah.
But what he's been doing, he was hurt early on. He's come in multiple games with over 10 tackles. The guy is a beast on that defense, shoring up that front seven with Myles Garrett up front. So he's been a beast so far for me.
Yeah, and his hair is awesome. He has better hair than Hickey. There's no doubt about that. I don't know if he has better hair than Tom Pelissero and Evan Washburn, but that dude does have elite hair in Carson Schlesinger. Kind of reminds me, him and Jaxson Dart, they both remind me of, Stu's probably haven't seen this movie, Sunshine from Remember the Titans, right? You've seen that.
I've seen that.
Oh, you have?
I have, yes.
Oh.
One
Did
of
you
the
not
few.
once at one point see it?
That's right. Bill
You did.
Ryder made me watch it.
Yeah. I remember there was something about you not seeing that movie. Legendary movie. So he reminds me of Sunshine a little bit. All righty. That will do it for the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Really fun show today. Big thanks to Jermaine Eluemunor from the New York Football Giants for joining us. Big thank you to Josh Appel, Sports USA, NFL play-by-play. He's going to be on the call for the Seahawks and the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. And a big thank you to the Super Bowl MVP, former Giant quarterback Phil Simms, for joining us. Enjoy the college football. Enjoy the NFL. I'll be back on Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, Sirius XM Channel 375, the free Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, all of our great local affiliates, and also streaming live on YouTube for Sunday Morning Football. And then I'll be live on Monday, but I'll be on location in Atlanta. So we'll get you set for the Bills and the Falcons to get your set and recap everything that happened over the weekend. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you on Sunday and Monday. I'm Zach Gelb. I'm out. Bye-bye. Peace. Thanks for listening.
Go Giants.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining.